just like whoever would be most interested in that. I talked to them about it.
So you'll be like, you'll be like you'll just tonight you might go home and be like, in my head, hey Paz, did you hear about Caitlin Clark? She sold more jerseys than and like you just have that. You are so red right now. This is the ultimate when you admit something on a podcast, thinking that everyone else does it too. All right, it's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. We're back from vacation. I really believe maybe our first vacation ever.
I think I've said that every vacation I've taken for the last 10 years.
But have we all been off? The pot, you know what I mean? Like if you went away, I feel like I did an episode or vice versa. But
Yeah,
like Jackie
probably.
went away, you went away. I don't think we've done that where it was just like everybody's still working and we're not today. Whoa.
Yeah.
Because I woke up and felt away. I was like, because I didn't go anywhere and I was just doing like more shit with my kids. But I was just like, so we're just not going to do work today, huh? Okay. Took a lot to just be like, all right, this is okay. This is how normal people do it. But we're back in action. New studio, clean studio. Feits went to Ireland. Jackie survived Mexico City.
I came back with gifts.
Whoa!
I got...
Let's go.
Here's the deal. I had a much better plan to get gifts. I was going to get gifts in Dublin, and I was going to find good gifts to go around, and I got really bad food poisoning. I had 4 cakes.
Nobody gets food poisoning more than this dude.
Dude, we were in Galway, and I jokingly ordered 4 cakes for dessert.
4 cakes?
And we were this really nice, not really nice restaurant. Well, it's a very good restaurant, and they are famous for their pastries and things like that. And
What does jokingly mean? Did you do it or did you
I
not?
ordered them.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
you said it in a funny voice or something? Did you tell the waiter to bring them or not?
I was like, I'll do the raspberry and hazelnut, and then I looked at my sister. I was like, and you said something. You wanted the chocolate cherry, right? And I looked over here, and I was like, and you said you wanted the, and they were all like, no. And the
you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And the waitress was like, it sounds like you want them. And I was like, ah. And then she came right back with all of them. And I was like, I got to eat them. And then I think
These are just slices or these are
slices of hearty cakes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And it was
You get famous cakes in Ireland. They're not exactly going to be light.
West Irish heavy cream seems to do problem. So anyway, I ended up having to settle for gifts that aren't as great as I wanted to be.
Wait,
honest.
so what? Your shopping time was just replaced with you shitting and puking?
Yeah,
Is that what you're telling me?
It actually ended
So
up being,
I don't get a good gift because your dumbass eats too many cakes?
Yeah, you get a piece of the Barney Stone.
Ah, I like that. Very cool. Your very own. This looks like.
Which was crazy.
This looks like someone else owned it before me, but okay.
Dude, I was trying to find a Clancy thing.
Oh, that's right. You texted me.
Just no Clancy stuff.
Yeah. How crazy is that? You're trying to get a license, one of those things.
Yeah,
just
just
says
Clancy.
Clancy. Yeah.
Knick-knack, but there was no.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, 0% chance this is from the Blarney Stone.
This
is just a fucking rock.
I didn't go to the Barney Stone.
Okay.
This is all just from a gift shop.
Got it. Okay.
Pavs. I was gonna get you a real one. You got this one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. The picky fucking blinders.
Let's go.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah, I was like, if Pavs can pull it off, I'll get him a real one. And you can pull it off. Jackie, you were harder to shop for. So you got an Irish whistle with a. It's like a.
Whoa!
Jackie, play us some whistle, please.
Wait. This is like a flute.
This is like the Leprechaun in Alabama. This is my
Yeah.
famous Irish flute to keep away the spirits. Play us a little tune. Do a little hot cross buns.
You already know how to do it. I didn't realize. I got you. You could have gotten just the flute. Or the flute with the how-to instructional DVD.
She doesn't need it.
And I got you the DVD, and it turns out you don't need it.
I don't need it.
So a rock, a hat, and a recorder.
All
Let's go.
from the airport.
What a great scam this is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the person who sells this probably is like a bajillionaire.
Let's
Let's go outside the airport, get a bunch of rocks.
It's like when you're making Irish stuff for Ireland, it's pretty easy. It's just like, hey, just say this thing brings them luck.
Right, you're done. You're done.
Like,
Yeah.
Shamrocks and pieces of rock and.
That's a made up name.
Do I look dumb?
I can't take him seriously.
I haven't seen myself yet. I would assume
Pull
I look great.
the down a little. Yeah. Yeah. Not
yeah,
the button,
no,
but
but
the
it doesn't-
The brim needs to pull down a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if it can. A little bit.
Well, now you look like a chauffeur.
Yeah.
I would assume I look pretty dumb in this.
Yeah, you don't look great. But I can see how you would look good in a real one.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll get a real one. We'll see what it looks like.
You know what? He's Italian. The Guineas can't pull it off. Italians can't wear that. Jackie, you did not get kidnapped?
I didn't get kidnapped.
Any assault?
No assaults. I mean, I also took like zero precaution. Like I would walk home alone at night with headphones in the dark. I like would take shots at people's tables. I would.
Nice.
Like,
So
Nice.
your
It was
whole
zero
thing,
precaution.
like you just go to regular bars and stuff like that. Like we go to
I would go to,
American tourist bars or.
it was American tourist bars. It was, or like not bars. Like I was restaurants, like a lot of reservations.
Yeah.
And like some bars, but and a lot of times actually like I would sit down like next to an American and like make friends with them. So it wasn't like completely alone, but like yeah, it was just mostly restaurants and stuff.
How long were you there?
5 days, 4 nights.
It wasn't your eat, pray, love.
It was,
I was gonna
yeah.
say,
it
did you find yourself?
It was
and-
like it was supposed to be like an eat, pray, love type thing, and then I was just like drunk the whole time. Because I like
Did you
wanted
get your
just,
groove back?
No, like I actually think I like it regressed me. Like there was nothing. I actually like my one takeaway was I was like, because also there's only so many meals that you can eat alone before you're like, all right, this is kind of like this is getting a little sad. In
There's a lot. I mean, if you're doing meals out, arguably at least twice a day, right? Lunch
yeah,
and dinner.
yeah,
You're doing 10 or 12 meals.
yeah.
That's like minimum.
I
That's a
was
lot.
Yeah.
That's a
kind of
lot.
like, all right.
I'm a big fan of TFO. I love Table for One. When you're on number like 9, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it started to get kind of sad. So my big takeaway was I was like, okay, I want a boyfriend, which I feel like was like.
I went away
supposed
to
be.
find myself, and I came back. I want to be dependent on a
Yeah,
man.
on a man, literally.
Did you find any Spanish lovers?
No Spanish lovers.
And you just
I mean,
you
they-
tempted fate in every possible way. You didn't have any safety precautions.
No, I was kind of like, yeah.
Like, come
I was
get
like,
me.
I deserve to be kidnapped at this point. But I didn't.
Jackie was looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like,
She's like,
where's all?
I
so-
want a
so
boyfriend
maybe-
so bad if he
Just
kidnaps
like
me.
nobody
fine.
fucking wants me. I just want to like interact with a human. I was like, I don't know.
So maybe I'm overly cautious, or maybe Mexico City's losing its edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's all
Yeah.
hype. Maybe Mexico City is all just a bunch of hype, and it's actually a really
Or maybe
nice
it's my
sweet town.
massive biceps.
That could be it. It could be that you were just so jacked. Everyone's
Yeah.
afraid of Jackie. So we're back at it. Should we call Dante?
Yeah.
'Cause
Let's
that
go.
was so like halfway through the week. A lot of times if we do miss any time together, it's always like something will happen and we'll text the group chat. We'll be like, we got to talk about that next episode. But when you have like 10 days off, it's a long time. And I was like, we cannot forget about this moment. And it's from none other than our good friend, Dante the Don.
Dude, I was lucky enough to wake up in the morning and I was like,
So good.
it was
Because
like-
you
it
were
was still
you were
like
on
2
off
a.m. or
hours.
3 a.m. in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
I woke up, cut on Twitter.
So wait, what time is it for you?
It was 8 a.m. A little
So you
8
you
a.m.
had just woken up
Yeah.
and you
And
see this.
I was like, oh, Dante's drunk tweeting. Because it was, I like look at the screenshot. It was 7 seconds. Now I believe he hasn't deleted this tweet yet.
7
So I saw.
I know
it's-
he certainly left it up like through the day at least.
It's so Paige Sporanic tweeted a picture of her in bikinis and stuff like that, and said, "Come chat with me."
Plus, never before seen pictures and videos, live pictures, prizes, giveaways, golf instruction, and so much more. Click here, onlypage.com. So she has her like an OnlyFans, but it's just like OnlyPage. It's like her own separate thing. And Dante posted at 3 a.m, done. I caved. With a picture of a gift from the Sandlot of I can't take this no more. And John sent it to me. I woke up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, I was surprised to see you
because I
tweet.
wrote back
Yeah.
to you like,
That's
oh
what
my
he's fine.
God. So he sent it to me at 4 being like, I'm so happy that I was awake to see this before he deletes it. And then I roll over at 4 and see his text and I was like, I want a podcast right now. Let's go. Dante. That's the thirstiest tweet of all time.
It's one of the
It's the
most
saddest thing I've ever seen.
deranged tweets a Barstool employee's ever said.
Ever. For someone, if you have an ounce of public persona and an ounce of public of self-respect, you don't do that.
I mean,
like, you can't do that. That's for fucking weirdo reply guys who just say that and like are anonymous.
I believe when Paige Spiranic launched that site, she was like, "It's my OnlyFans."
Right.
And you're just replying to an OnlyFans girl.
I can't.
And that
I can't
like,
take it anymore. Like he's been like that. To me, that means like he's been looking at all of Paige Spranik's stuff, and he's like, I just can't do it anymore. I gotta get your porn website.
And then just let
the world know.
I'm gonna masturbate to you.
Are you going back to try to find it right now? Yeah. Because the day of, I mean, Dante probably has 60,000 tweets since then, so it's probably hard to find. But the day of, I woke up. Like later in the day, and then checked lunchtime, and it was still there. So, but then we theorized maybe he didn't even know he did it. Because if you're drunk and you just fire off one tweet and you don't go back and look at your own, because it didn't get any action really, which I'm surprised at, by the way. I'm surprised there weren't people being like, "You fucking loser." He might have just not even realized he sent it. That would be my favorite scenario. If we call him right now and he goes, "What?"
Yeah.
That would be the greatest thing to ever happen.
We're up to April 17th, and I've been scrolling for like 3 minutes.
All right, he
He deleted it. Thank God.
You dirty dog. You dirty dog, Dante. Not so fast, brother. All right, I'm gonna call him right now.
It's gonna be great. Come on. I mean, what could Dante be doing?
Yo, I need a few tips on my golf swing. Give me a call back when you get a chance. He'll call back. I think he'll call back. We'll
give it a
him
minute.
back in when he calls back.
Just an all-time.
I could just
move.
never imagine sending that tweet.
It's one thing. Listen, many men have succumbed to Paige Spiranic.
Yeah,
right?
no, I'm not hating on using OnlyFans. I'm not hating on having an OnlyFans.
I'm just saying specifically, there's probably about 1 billion dudes who said I caved and I'm signing up for that. It's when you have 38,000. Jeez, you only got 38,000 followers. It's when you got some followers and you're blogging and you're doing it now and you're just gonna be like, I caved. It's like, dude, I know you masturbated to Paige Spiranic that night. That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. It's okay, but it's weird that I know it.
Yeah.
Again,
right.
many men have done it. But it's weird that I know you did it like that night. I know on April 17th, 2024, you caved.
So I think
that's
enough
fucking
of a
weird.
buzz to be like, I gotta pay money to see. I don't know. Like, there's nothing you're doing with Paige Spiranic aside for like.
That's hilarious.
Paige now just knows. She's like, Dante fucking gets his rocks off.
Like, it wasn't even, she didn't reply, like, thanks, or like, oh, great. It was just like, okay. You're just in the trash pile with the other reply guys.
It's a bizarre tweet, man.
What do you think, Jackie?
I think it's weird. It's a weird tweet.
It's a weird tweet. Okay.
Jackie, I have a question for you that you might have heard.
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday, or maybe it was on Reddit yesterday. It's a TikTok thing, so you probably heard it. And I was flabbergasted by the response at first, and then I thought more about it, and I'm like, oh, never mind, it makes perfect sense. If you had to be trapped in the woods, would you rather be trapped in the woods with a bear or a man?
Oh, yeah.
That's a little silly.
Well, so, okay.
It's still, pick a man. Come on.
No. It's you're hunted by a man or a bear.
Okay.
Because I would much rather be trapped in the woods.
That's
with a
different than
man.
it probably is a bear.
Yeah, a bear for sure.
No. I think that.
I thought it was you're just trapped in the woods with, because that I think is a more debatable question.
I still listen. A bear is gonna maul you to death at some point.
But I think I really think like opposable thumbs is just like a huge leg up.
It's the thumbs for you. It's the thumbs that it's the thumbs that do it, huh? I mean, I'm thinking if I'm a woman and I'm trapped in the woods and there's a man, you can use your feminine wiles and make that a workable situation.
What do you mean?
You can have sex with him. You can like, you know what I mean? As a woman, you can like.
But I think
turn on your charm. But if we're already saying you're being hunted,
yeah, it's a hunting.
I think you take the bear and just let the bear kill you.
Again, I saw it on Reddit, so I didn't get the full thing. As I understood it, it was just you're just trapped.
Oh, okay.
With a man or a bear, and men were very upset. It seemed, again, according to this Reddit I saw, that women seem to have overwhelmingly chosen a bear.
Wait, what?
Like, couldn't it theoretically just be like, I'm trapped in the woods, and like there's a lumberjack, and he's a nice dude who's chopping wood. Whereas like a bear, will probably eat you.
I think if it's just any random man on planet Earth, I think you take your chances with the bear.
Yeah. like I could see a scenario where a woman like just is like peaceful and gentle, and the bear comes over and befriends it, whereas the guy is gonna be like, I want to fuck this thing.
Dude,
I'm gonna kill this thing.
If you're trapped there for an extended period of time,
but as always,
I think you take.
But I think if you're trapped in there with a man for an extended period, any man becomes attractive.
So I think it's like anything else. It's like Tom Brady on SNL. If that dude in the woods is hot, all of a sudden you got yourself a fucking romance novel.
But that's why I'm saying
you're taking your chances.
You gotta go with
Chances are it's gonna be a fat, gross, like rapist. Now, if you close your eyes and throw a dart at the male population, it's probably a fat rapist.
Who definitely knows nothing about the woods. If we're talking about like the planet Earth,
right?
Is probably a fucking either like it could just be an annoying guy.
Yeah.
There's
right. It doesn't have to be the raping and the killing. It could just be like the stop talking.
Like fucking leave me alone, dude. Like,
but don't you?
But then I go bear.
I think there's an equal chance, not an equal chance, but there also is a chance that, like I said, it's some fucking Prince Charming wilderness dude, and now you're like living out your fucking dream fantasy of being like in the woods with this man. Whereas like a bear, one way or the other, probably gonna maul you. Even if it might try to eat you, it might try to play with you. One way or another, you're catching a paw to the face.
It's probably gonna end bad with the bear.
Probably gonna end bad with the bear.
But
now again, it could also be like you're in a whole ass forest. Maybe this bear just leaves you alone, and you leave the bear alone. You just kind of keep dancing around.
Yeah.
But if the idea is, for the sake of the hypothetical, you're running into the man or the bear, you're probably gonna end up dead with the bear. The man you're almost definitely gonna end up dead with too. Here's the problem. Yes,
but not because he's gonna kill you, but just because he probably doesn't know he's probably gonna die too.
Right, you'll both die together.
Yeah.
But here's the one thing we know for sure: unless things go really, really south, you're not gonna end up raped by the bear. That's the only thing we can say, pretty much with any certainty in this scenario, unless the bear is a real motherfucker.
Yeah.
So it's really pick your poison here. It's a good one though, and it is funny that the overwhelming reaction, whether they're doing it to be funny or not, is like, we'll take a chance with the bear. And then it's even funnier that there are probably dead-ass serious men being like, oh, come on, are you serious?
I actually, like, the other epiphany that I have is, like, from Mexico City is, like, everyone's cool. Like, you can start to like anyone, Like, even if you sit next to somebody on a plane for, like, an hour and you don't talk to them, you still feel kind of, like, connected to them.
I go back and forth on whether or not the general population, the average person, is like good or bad.
Good.
And I think
it's overwhelmingly good.
Good.
Yeah.
Overwhelming, like 99.9%.
Even like the bad people are like, everyone's just trying to get by. I mean, they're like
psychopaths
and Hitler.
Right.
I don't want to say good, but like I think 99.999% of people just want to
just live their life
during their day.
Yeah.
Get home, have a few beers, have a few laughs, maybe have a little sex.
Go to onlypage.com and have a night and be done.
Just do it again. Like there's.
Yeah. But so that's why, all right, then chances are that man is probably going to be fine.
What's your bar for being bad, though? Like you said, most people are
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
so
Well, that's, I'm not talking about like murderers and shit.
Yeah.
But like, I think people are generally selfish. Mm-hmm. I think the average person you run into is probably going to look out for themselves over you.
Yes, but I think you're allowed to be. I think you're allowed to be selfish.
I guess so.
I think you'd be selfish as long as it doesn't affect other people's lives.
That's what I mean. If it came down to it,
I think
if it comes down to it, you're in like a public setting, transportation, flying a plane, at a bar, whatever, and there is some sort of thing where it's like me or them, people pick them. Where it's like, I don't know, this is my seat on the plane, or it's my reservation, or whatever, and they'll be like, fuck you, I'm taking it. Whereas I would always be like, I'll let that person go first, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think other people, I think flip a coin, chances are that person will not reciprocate that.
Wait, the other day on the train, I saw this guy, like, he was sitting on the train, and this other guy, like, came on, and he just, like, tapped him on the shoulder, and, like, he got up from the seat and, like, let the guy have a seat. The guy was, like, his size. The guy was so offended. I think it was, like, a bit. The guy was, like, what the
absolutely.
fuck? Like, what
If somebody
the
just
fuck?
came up to me and was like, "You can have my seat," it was a dude.
Yeah.
That's you know what? That's a great. You know that guy.
And he sat down like such a bitch. To, like,
Yeah. Who's that guy whose whole thing is like how to offend men with pickup lines? You know that guy?
Yeah.
That's like number one on the list.
Yeah.
Give up your seat for another man. Oh, that's fucking great.
Start doing that. as a
This
bit.
happened to Clemmer before. Hey man, you want
He
my
needs
seat?
it. Look at his legs. He can't stand up.
Dude, speaking of public things, when I was in Dublin, I was walking and I came really close to getting assaulted. It was like I spotted the guy from a mile away. Like I was on one side of the street, right on the River Liffey, and I was with two of my buddies, and they're both like rugby guys, so they're both like bigger dudes. And this guy,
Bro,
somehow,
if you're the smallest one in the group,
no, I will.
that's the wrong group to try to fight.
Well, that my buddies had the coolest line all the time. So this guy, I could tell he was like whacked out. He's across the street, and I could kind of just see he's a little whacked out. And he came like running over,
Johnny clocked him.
and then
knew.
he pulled his arm back, and I actually never took my hands in my pockets. I kind of just went like that.
No way.
And then he kept screaming in Irish shit, and then my two buddies started yelling Irish shit back at him. And we just kind of kept walking, and it was fine.
Wait, does that mean English that you couldn't understand? Or
Yeah,
like, okay.
yeah. It was like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are saying.
Right.
And one of my buddies he just goes, best thing that guy'll ever do in his life. I don't know why he's British. He goes, best thing that guy'll ever do in his life is not throw that punch.
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, that was sick.
Yo.
But anyway, that is a different story. So these guys, I went by a stadium called the GAA, which is like the Gaelic Athletic Association, which is like the only Irish sports are allowed to be played there. Mm-hmm. And they were telling me a story about how they played rugby there. And they were in like the first match ever in that stadium that wasn't an Irish team versus an Irish team. Because like that's the stadium where Bloody Sunday happened.
Oh.
When the British just rolled tanks in and just started shooting up the fucking stands.
Yeah.
And lit it up. And then they got to play in a rugby game because their stadium had been taken down or was under construction, whatever. They got to play in a rugby game versus England in that stadium. And I was like, that must have been the most intense. He's like, we were like 20 years old. He's like, that must have been the most intense game. They hadn't won in like 15 years. And then they beat England that game. He's like, it was literal.
I mean, that's the greatest game of all time.
It's-
They should make a movie about that.
Bro,
Who the fuck if I'm playing for England's national team, no fucking chance I'm playing in that game.
I was like, man, that must be so awesome to like have a game against like the people who oppressed and fucking like slaughtered your grandparents. Like you have family members who fucking remember it, and you get to be on that field, and like the emotion of that game must have been insane. And then I was like, that's like what black people feel every day.
I was literally
that's why we get our fucking asses kicked every goddamn game.
Literally, I was trying to come up with another scenario, and I was like, it's all of them. They're all the time.
I was like,
It's like that's the
I was
Knicks
like,
at the
man,
Garden.
That would
That's
be like
the-
if I got to play against the British in the fucking 1776. Like, oh no, never mind. That's like every high school football game I played.
Every time a white guy gets dunked on, that's what's going on, man. That's what's happening. That's very funny.
Like your grandparents are gassing you up before the game. Like, you gotta take it to the British today. You remember what they did to our family? You're like, fuck. I'm the British. I'm the fucking British.
So wait, but the Irish won that game?
Yeah, that
and
was
they
like their-
usually don't. They're
That was
like
like
the
their
underdogs?
first time. I forget what the
That's
number was. Like in like
crazy.
15 years or something like that.
Rugby's also just the ultimate like dude sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one step above just fighting.
Yeah.
You know?
I got a bill on this sweater.
Too hot?
Yeah. I mean, I wore.
Yeah, you got layers on layers on layers, dude.
I wore the sweater knowing that it was gonna be too hot, but
It's too much.
Come back in style.
You did the unthinkable and held off on Taylor the whole trip?
Yep. Well, it came out my last day when I had real bad food poisoning. It came out Friday.
I would love a food poisoning count over the last decade and a half.
Bro,
it's crazy. How many times do you think you've had food poisoning since I've known you?
I don't know, man. Iron stomach.
It's either iron or not, though.
No, it's not.
Right, it's like the
not
opposite.
Iron.
It's like everything you eat, you have food poisoning. And when you say food poisoning, you mean like my belly hurts or like it's coming out of all holes?
Sometimes it's belly hurts. This one was a bad one.
Yeah.
This one's
almost one of those you lose like 10 pounds. You're like, eh.
Oh yeah, I'm down. I'm 212 right now.
Yeah, you're feeling good.
Bro, I'm 212 right now. That's
I might be 212 right now.
But it was what was I gonna say? Yeah, no, it was like I got it the morning. I had to take a train from Galway to Dublin, and I came down to the hotel, and my mom and dad were already down there, and I was like 20 minutes ago, I did not think I was making this train, and I made it to Dublin, and then it got way worse. Why was I saying this though?
Sorry, I interrupted you. It was Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah. So it came out Friday morning, and I wasn't.
You still lasted several days without listening. That's a lot.
Yeah.
For Swiftie.
It is, and I thought about it, and then it kind of became a thing to me, where like sometimes things you do this, like I've never like there's some movies I've never seen where it's just like at one point I wasn't in the mood, and I was like I do want to watch this, but I'm not in the mood right now, and then it kind of just never happens, and so
now it becomes a thing.
Friday I didn't listen intentionally, and I gotta be honest, I don't hate missing the hoopla. Like I like Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like mass hysteria. Like, I've seen a tweet about that once where it's like,
if I was like a Swiftie from 06, I would fucking hate what happened.
Yeah,
because it's the ultimate. This happens very, very typically in sport, in music. It's the ultimate. I knew them before they blew up.
Right.
But it's like I don't. It would ruin it for me if everybody started acting like that about my favorite person. I would be like, you guys are the worst.
There are certainly aspects of it where you're like. But it's weird to claim ownership too. But it's like, yo, great if that's how you enjoy it.
Right, because then you're being the snob.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a bigger fan than you. But if it's objectively like, yo, you came around pretty recently, and you're doing all this shit, and I got to put up with it now.
I actually, when I woke up Tuesday morning, I did have some people I follow, no one who works here, who I like, whose tweets I saw, and I was like, oh, you are going crazy about. I'm like, dude, I knew you fucking 15 years. Like, and again, I'm happy Taylor has more fans and all that stuff.
Sure.
But it's just like I can like Taylor Swift without doing that, and some people like be part of that, some people don't like be part of it. I kind of don't. So I was happy to avoid all the hoopla, and I listened for the first time last night. And I'll be honest, my first listen, I was like, good. Really good, but it wasn't one of my favorite albums of hers. Like Folklore right off the rip, I was like, this is fucking unbelievable. Evermore off the rip. Midnights I really liked. This probably is more of a lover type for me, where I really like it, but it's not one of my favorite albums of hers. But the one thing I did think of while listening, because I know people are like, how does she keep doing all this? How does she keep making all this music and shit?
It is a little crazy to put out 31 new songs when you're on tour and you put out an album a year ago.
Well, I think that maybe Taylor Swift is the only artist who ever worked.
I was gonna say,
like if you talk to any artist ever about like one of their songs, like that took like 20 minutes. Right?
Well,
it's not hard to write a fucking song. It's hard to write a song. It's hard to have that ability and that talent. But like a song is 4 minutes long. A song's a block.
Yeah,
it's not that hard to write a song.
If you're good at it,
yeah.
That I like it. It's fine. If that Post Malone song took any more than 15 minutes to write, I mean it's fine. But it's just like some Taylor Swift songs.
wasn't one of my immediate like hits.
Some Taylor Swift songs and some like pop songs in general, you can tell are like. Lyrics are great, and there's multiple verses and a bridge and like pieces of the song, and then some of them are like that's a pop song. There's like 20 words in it total. You repeat the chorus like 30 times,
right? And
the beat's like whatever, and that some of those songs are those things, I mean, I would also think that like if I was Taylor Swift, I'd probably go through my album process. Where what would I imagine you do is you write like 20 or 30 songs and you whittle it down to like 10 or 12, and then you're like, let's just put them all out. because honestly, to go back to Dante, well, I'll send you some money for this episode. We're talking about you a lot, Dante. He was tweeting like I think we've gotten to a point where nobody would even be honest about if they didn't like a Taylor Swift song if they didn't. So I think that they probably know that. They're like, let's just put out, these are songs that would have been scrapped, or this would have been a deluxe or whatever. Just put them all out and just basically do a double album, because everyone's going to say all of these are the best song they've ever heard.
Right.
Fuck it. But yeah, I kind of agree with you that like if you are good at it, it's probably like, you know, work is relative, where it's like normal people, if you worked all day from 9 to 5 as a writer, as a music artist, you'd probably write like a billion songs.
Right.
It's like, but I guess
it's not that hard to write.
But
I think the part of it is experiences, and like
you have to have something to draw on.
Taylor goes on tour. She
Sure.
goes on dates. She she lives a life.
If you're just, I actually felt that a little bit with this, not to compare myself to Taylor Swift, but it's like, if all you do is this, then when it comes time to do this, you don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's what when you get famous enough, I think that's what happens with a lot of musicians, comedians. They say it happens a lot.
You're just talking about being famous.
You're not living life, so you don't really have
the experience
things
to
joke about. Like, I think,
yeah.
Was it 30 Rock? There's Tracy Jordan. He like can't do stand up anymore because he just like talks about lobster and St. Bart's. And then,
I mean, it's for sure in rap. I know that. That's a very big thing in the rap game, because it was also new enough that it was the first time people were ever getting to like their 40s and 50s, and having kids and shit. And it's like, yeah, all we got now is money. That's why, and like Jay-Z came out with an album, and Nas came out with an album that like started to explore being older and mature in rap. But yeah, I mean, part of it is just gotta do shit.
I feel like other musicians are watching Taylor and being like, "Come on, for fucking 1,000 years we've had them fooled that it takes a year to make an album."
Like, but not even like, there are people who put out albums like once every several years. Yeah. I mean, I've been going, you know, rap crazy this whole week. The one time I don't have an outlet to scream into a microphone is when I wanted to talk about music the most. But like, you know, Kendrick Lamar puts out albums like every 3 years. Like, what are you doing? And I'm not saying like, because again, you need to be inspired. I would guess
the longer a song takes to write, the worse it is. Like, it's got one of those.
It's got to just hit you and go, right? Like, if you're stressing it and forcing it, it's probably not that good.
I'm comparing them to blogs because just of length, but like a blog that you worked on for a long time isn't as good as just like you the keys and fire
it just like pours out of you. But I'm not even saying, because if you have like a standard for your music and you're like, everything in my life has been good and I haven't had any struggle and I don't have anything to write about and I'm gonna wait for that. Okay, fine. But then, like, literally, what are you doing every day?
Yeah.
What if you're you're not on tour? You go on tour. That's fine. Every other day for those 2 years. Let's say you were on tour for 1 year. You're working for 1 year. Like, there's 2 whole years in there. It's like, what happens when you wake up in the morning that you can't just be like, let me write a couple lyrics? Because if you just write a couple bars, a couple hooks here and there, you'd be done. But I don't know. I mean, who knows? I would love an honest answer of that from like a real musician, but it's probably like, a magician doesn't tell its secrets. We got a great gig going.
Taylor just keeps working. Like, this goddamn son of a bitch.
The rap stuff is very funny. It's now just evolved into rappers making fun of other rappers for their worse record deals. So, like, Drake makes fun of Kendrick Lamar because Kendrick Lamar allegedly has to give 50% of his money to the first music label that signed him. And then Drake now, allegedly, people think he got $400 million cash, and he has ownership in this new music group, and that a lot of the artists who are, like, beefing with him, like, he gets a lot of the percentage for that. So he comes out and says, like, that's a cute little record deal you got there. Like, alluding that he has ownership. And then Kanye comes and puts out his diss, and he's like making fun of Drake because Drake has to give a cut to the head of Apple. like that's his name's Lucian Gray. He's like the head of. It's like at the top of the music industry is this guy, and Kanye's being like, "That's cute that you have to give money to him." It's like, well, because he's fully independent,
He raps about Lucian a lot.
What's that?
I think Drake raps about that.
Yeah, I think Lucian is the guy who, like, I think they went to him and they were like, we'll give you a better deal on streaming. We'll give you a better deal on this and that.
This sounds exactly like Tracy Jordan eating lobster. We're like in diss tracks is like Apple executives.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is it's gotten. I mean, I guess it's good that it's not dangerous or anything, but it's like we're now just talking about terms and contracts and shit. Like, somebody go fuck someone's wife. Come on, let's get back to it, man. But yeah, Kanye just dropping a stick of dynamite in it is pretty funny because I think he's actually genuinely fucking around. I think the rest of these guys all have their shit, and I think he's just like goofing off. He's like, I can't even think of a Drake line. Like that's a great put on Jcole and the pussy gets dry is
so funny.
Dude. Jcole. I mean, I've been talking about it forever now, but like what he did and what he's getting dissed by both sides of a rap battle. It's the worst. It's like it's so bad, and everyone's like, nah, he's like mature and at peace, and like he's peaceful with his decision. It's like, yeah, right. Yeah, fucking right, dude. When Kanye's saying that your music makes the pussy dry and everyone's making fun of you and shit, it's like, no. Did you see the meme he posted? Kanye posted?
What was it again?
It was just like some weird like Japanimation type of meme. And it's like these little like weeble wobble type people, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like
kind of.
And it says like this girl says, "Do you listen to Jcole?" And the next frame it's him saying no, and the next frame is her sucking his that thing. It's just so mean. It's so stupid and so mean. I absolutely love it. It was a great. I think the episode should be out now. I went on an episode of a podcast over the break called Road Podcast with a couple of DJs from New York, and I was like, I haven't been able to talk to anybody about this. I was like, I texted Trent, I texted Clem, anybody that I thought maybe still listens to rap, and they were like, no, I haven't been paying attention. I was like, no, no. So if you want to hear a good rap discussion, these guys know like everything about the industry inside and out. It's called the Road Podcast. It should be out now.
I didn't hear any of the disses or anything like that. I did hear. I don't know if it's real or not. The Donald Glover Kanye song.
No, I didn't hear this.
I don't.
Good. I don't know anything about this.
But I think so. I don't know if it's real or whatever.
By the way, I have to go on that rant. If you make AI music, in the beginning, I remember being like, it's fine, whatever. I don't care about it like taking over the world. I just fucking hate that the initial reaction to everything is this real?
Yeah.
It sucks so much dick. That guy who made the AI Kendrick diss like put out a explainer video like here's how I did it, and it's like fuck that sucks, dude. We don't like it. It's not like ooh show me how you did it. It's like hey don't ever do this again because then it ruins when the songs actually do come out. You fucking asshole.
But I know Childish Gambino was going on his Instagram and he was going to play music, and I think this is a real recording from it.
I believe he's putting out. I think I heard he's putting out a double album. One of them as Childish Gambino, and one of them as Donald Glover, maybe.
Oh, really?
And that I think I heard the one album is the end of Childish Gambino. Like he's never gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So, bro, talk about one of the most underrated guys. Well, I guess I can't say that anymore because he's won fucking every award under the sun, but still just underappreciated. Like to be funny enough to do like comedy specials.
I mean, he wrote on 30 Rock.
Right. Write some of the funniest TV shows. Do like some groundbreaking television with Atlanta and be like an awesome rapper when he does it. Is insane. That is so like there's not many of them. That guy should be like at the top of everyone's list, and I don't think like that. I mean, maybe it's a jack of all trades sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find people who say Childish Gambino is their favorite comedian or actor or rapper. When in reality, it's like he should be at the top of fucking every single person's list because he can do all of this shit at the highest level.
You know who I was thinking was also overrated? This might be a bad take because he might be incredibly overrated. Tyler Perry is a billionaire, and I never knew that until this week.
He's just so massive in the black community.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I think he's kind of it's kind of like not like a joke, but it's just like he makes like soap opera-y type shit.
Yeah. I know I've never seen a movie. But
he's like the Nickelback almost of that, where it's like, yeah, man, my music, my movies aren't good. Let me go back to my. I think he has like a compound in Atlanta. It's like a he's part of the state.
Where his house in L.A. is where the fucking Harry and Meghan lived when they first left the.
Because he said like you can come stay at my place, right? Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. I'm looking at it right now. The differences in New York sports right now. Granted, of course, it's the playoffs. It's the Mecca. it's Madison Square Garden. But tonight, Sixers at Knicks. Cheapest ticket right now on Gametime, $249. Tonight, Cardinals at Mets, Citi Field. Lowest ticket. What's your guess? Cardinals at Mets tonight at Citi Field. $3. Fucking nailed it on the button. $3. $249. That is, but you know what? The Yankees are $3 as well. So if you want,
baseball's cheap.
yeah,
You play
there's so many
162,
games, you know. So regular season games. But if you are on a budget,
dude, if you're on a budget, again, there's events under $50. Tomorrow night, we got 2 great shows in New York. There's Games We Play is at Gramercy Theater. Games We Play, fire. And then at Bowery Ballroom, Augustana.
and that's how much? Under $50?
Augustana's 27. Games We Play, 31.
I'm
Dude, Augustana.
gonna pretend I know what those shows are.
You know Augustana.
I don't think I do.
I think I'll go to Boston. You know the Boston song. It's not. I mean, it's.
We're talking about music or a musical?
music.
That's the beauty of Game Time, dude. There's something for everybody, every fan base, whether you're going to music, whether you're going to sports, whether you're going to comedy, whether you're going to Broadway, acting, musicals, all that stuff. Game Time is the official way to get in the building because they have up to the minute pricing, which means, I'm sure it'll be like $1 by the time it's first pitch tonight for the Mets. You can get in the building for like free practically because it's up to the second pricing. Also, everything all guaranteed. You don't have to worry about any fraudulent secondhand tickets. This is all guaranteed that you will get in there. They also have the sections of their app like under $50 or let me see what's going on in my region. They have flash deals where you can get deals based on your region. So it's like this zone is at a discount. There's also events and teams that have flash deals. So anytime out of nowhere you turn your notifications on, it'll pop up that you can get tickets for a lesser price. And they have the best last minute seats with up to 60% off of your favorite events. So what are you waiting for? Go to the hockey playoffs, go to the baseball playoffs, basketball playoffs. Baseball's in full swing. And so take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code KFC for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. That's code KFC on the Game Time app. SimpliSafe. I got to get SimpliSafe. I have a shed, if you will, but it's like a barn. It's a little barn shaped like a barn. Just imagine a barn just shrunk down, right? And it's got these big barn doors that swing out. And I put all my cardboard boxes in there. I have a shit ton of cardboard. Can't put it all out at once to get recycled, so I put it in. And I close the door, and then it has a metal latch that goes over it, and then a little thing that you turn so that it's like perpendicular, right? And this is rusted old metal. And when I turn it, it like scrapes the metal, like. And multiple times now, I go outside and the doors are just wide open. The doors are either wide open or the metal thing has been turned so that it's 180, so that if the flap does come undone, it would just be wide open. It's too tight and too rusted and too old to be like it just, the wind did it. Somebody or something is turning that fucking knob. And I don't know what it is, so I got to get SimpliSafe. Because I've got... I need the indoor cameras. I need the outdoor cameras because I got weird stuff going on up at Clancy Manor. And SimpliSafe is the best home security system in 2024, as told by U.S. News, World, and Report. Also, Newsweek said it was the best customer service. So they are the #1 home security. Now, what I don't know, a lot of home security is obviously deterring and preventing and whatnot. I'm gonna call up SimpliSafe and be like, "What do you do about this? What are you gonna tell me to do now? Because I got something going on here. We'll see just how good SimpliSafe really is. Because right now, SimpliSafe is too good to be true. Almost, they got a 60-day guarantee with money back, risk free. If you don't love it, they send you that full refund. They have monitoring agents that will help stop crime in real time. So I'm going to call you up and be like, someone's opening up the barn. Do something about it. They also have protection against flooding, fires, burglaries, anything that can harm your home. SimpliSafe has got you covered, and they will send somebody over from dispatch when you need it most. Go to SimpliSafe.com, simply with an I, SIMPLI, safe.com/KFC Radio. And you will get 20% off any new SimpliSafe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. So get that Fast Protect monitoring package, get 20% off at SimpliSafe, and get that peace of mind. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
I had a thought.
Wait, so okay, sorry, keep going.
I want to start a service. This is very hard to do. I can't figure out how I'm going to do this. I want to get kidnapped.
Okay.
Because I want to know how
I'll be honest, right off the rip, that is hard to arrange.
Yeah. Well, that's
like, if you made a list of people want to kidnapped, you are low on the list, bro.
Well, I just want to see how I'd react in the situation, like, and how because we were talking about my parents, and they were telling me a story of someone who got kidnapped or whatever, and I was like, I think I'd do.
Wait, what?
It wasn't like a family friend.
Like a news story. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, and I think the person got let go, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that would happen to me. And they were
just like, get out.
Like they were like they didn't care, and the people couldn't get them to do what they wanted them to do because they weren't upset about being kidnapped. And I was like, I think I'd be like, this is so dumb.
You wouldn't be afraid enough. Your family wouldn't pay any ransom. We know deep down we'd be like, well, this is kind of like what he wanted, so like we miss him, but not really. Like this is what John wanted. And then eventually they'd be like, well, this is just a waste of our time.
Yeah, like
we can't fuck him.
When I think about that when I'm watching like.
Does anybody want to fuck him? No, then get rid of him. Fucking put him back out there.
And they're like, scream for me. I'd be like, shut the fuck up and just do. And I think that's what I would do. I don't know, so I want to find out for real.
How about this? So, along the lines of those guys that we made fun of a couple weeks ago who run those fantasy camps for like Marines.
Yeah.
What if? Okay. Let's flesh this out. This is your service. What's the one thing we all always say, like when we're in like the shower, and you're just, like having your shower thoughts? We always think about what we would say on the couch at the late night show, and what we would do in a extreme situation.
Uh-huh.
So why don't it would all have to be a surprise? But it's like, okay, I know that about you. So for your birthday this year, at some point this year,
hire someone
guys
to kidnap
you. So because if you know it's coming, whatever.
But see, this is now the problem of ever mentioning it. Is now no matter when I get kidnapped,
you're gonna be like, this is fake. This is fake.
Like, this is so dumb.
That would be a good. That's another good.
I'll be secretly happy. They're like, he's weirdly into it.
The guy's going back to the boss. Like, we're trying hard to scare him. He doesn't fucking care.
Keep saying it's stupid, but then whispering, "Great gift, Kevin."
You can lean into it a little more. Don't worry. I think that it's like if as long as like if you got this from me, I would hate you and never forgive you.
Yeah.
You, I know you like it, and we'll get to see. Because you know what? It would be interesting. You could come back to this podcast with a whole new perspective, being like, either like, I know what I would do, and it was like, I thought what I was going to do, and I did it. Or you could be like, yo, don't ever think that you're going to be tough in a kidnapping because it's fucking scary. Having that perspective, be like, nope, you're going to shit your pants. Yeah. Trust me, I shit my pants. Because if you shit your pants, a lot of other people are going to shit their pants.
I don't know. I really can't. We'll never know. Probably.
We'll get those people. We'll get the people who run those haunted houses that are very like the extreme ones.
Yeah.
We'll be like, you kidnap or you fuck. Whether it's a kidnapping or like you want to know if you're out with your girl and someone like steps to you and you want like, I would love to see what I do in that situation. All right, we'll send that guy over.
Well, there's that show. What would you do? Which is a show where people like act awful in public.
But I'm sure it needs to be like. So we just need to. What would you do? One up it.
Yeah. The show where it's like people are like racist in restaurants and it's like you're at the table next door and stuff like that.
Yes, I've seen that. So we'll just do, but you're the victim.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's funny to think about is like there's definitely been situations where like a kidnapper, because if you're gonna kidnap somebody, you gotta be like feeling 100%. You gotta be like ready to run and everything.
Wait. If I'm kidnapping,
if you're kidnapping,
you gotta be ready to kidnap someone.
You gotta be like ready to run from the cops, ready to run if the hostage runs, whatever. So I wonder if like they've been like, I honestly ate too much at dinner tonight, or like I had too much dinner. Like,
I have
but
not
that's
been working
happened
out.
before. Yeah, they're like, I'm not like kind of tired
tip top
today.
shape. Yeah,
Like it's definitely happened because they like accidentally had too much like ice cream after dinner or something.
That's
But nobody's
a great
gonna talk
point.
about it.
Think about how often you're like this is pretty much a dream job as far as like, if you wake up in the morning and the only thing you got to do is talk to your friends.
Yeah.
You're fine, right? But there are still days you wake up, you're like,
Yeah.
can you imagine when you wake up in the morning, you're like, it's kidnap day. We've been planning this for months, and today I gotta fucking put this mask on and take this gun and fucking throw this person in a van. I gotta yell all loud. I gotta scare them. Fuck, man.
You said
like
that.
Kidnapping getting canceled has got to be the
Yeah.
best. Like, dude, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yes. You send
Roll
that
that
text
joint.
like the soft cancel, like, hey, bud, I've been thinking, I'm not feeling so hot today.
You know, the weather's
Say you neither. Say you either. Say you either.
the weather's not really so good. You know, maybe we should wait till it's sunny out. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
On the other end, just celebrating. No kidnapping. It's a snow day for criminals. That's great. Let's try Dante one more time. While you do that, we can pull up one other Barstool tweet. Some people know John Rich. He's been in the Minifan world. He runs the Rundown. Great guy who I really like. One of the definitions of the new people we brought in, who just like puts his head down and works and provides some content. Used to do meth. I always like that little tidbit about him. And he tweeted, I have a recurring wet dream that I'm about to play hockey, but I can never get to the game. I'll be missing a piece of equipment. My skate blade will break. This time I got lost looking for the rink. Okay. Whatever, right? I get so worked up that I come and then wake up. It's always devastating. What does this mean?
I woke up this morning and saw this tweet, and I was
I love your question marks. Just like, what? Like, even when I first started to read it, I thought he just mixed up recurring dream and wet dream and just put them together because it was all about sports and shit. You know, it's like, oh, I keep having this recurring dream about like I missed my test in high school.
Yeah.
And he just put wet in there by accident. and then none of it has to do with sex. And then he just says, and I keep coming.
I get so worked up that I come.
Bro, what? Is he in the building?
That's how I'm gonna
Is he here?
start apologizing for prematurely ejaculating.
I got
Sorry,
so
I got
worked
so
up.
worked up that I came. I mean, it is the definite. Like,
That's why
every
it
time
happens.
I come, I just came because I got so worked up. It's just we get worked up about different things. I suppose I don't get as worked up about a missing skate blade.
Yeah, like this doesn't make sense that you would come from missing the game. It would make sense if he was like, I scored the winning goal and I got so worked up I come. This is like, I'm upset and I just got.
I am sorry. I got so worked up.
Bro,
that I
you know
came.
that means he wakes up and he's like, fuck, I missed the game again. And he's like, oh, I'm a mess.
God damn.
I got this boxers full of
Not
cum.
only did I miss the game,
I got so
again,
worked up.
I also came once again.
No, the fact that you can wake up he's like 30, right? He's older.
Yeah, I think he may be a little younger, but like 28. 29.
You're 28 years old. You wake up and you look down at your boxers and you go, again. Every time.
Fucking game
Every
again.
time. What would you do? What would you do if you were dating a guy who like has this happen? Like you wake up in the morning next to your boyfriend and he's like, I got so worked up I came again, baby.
Yeah. I feel like don't
Don't tell me
don't tell me share that information.
just
keep that shit
run to the
yourself.
bathroom.
Definitely don't tweet it.
Yeah, I know. So that's the other thing. I actually love it. Like, part of me is like, respect, brother. You know, you truly putting all your business out there. But some things are just not meant to be on the internet.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Dante is in the air. What's up?
He could still talk, no?
On a plane?
You can't
No?
call, no.
Damn.
Well, a little teaser for you next episode.
Yeah.
We'll talk to Dante about his unbearably overwhelming horniness.
Oh! The most important thing that happened on this trip. Totally forgot about it. First of all, I do want to just say, when I bought that sweater, I cried.
What?
I teared up.
Why? What's that? You bought it in Ireland?
Yeah. So
Is it
I
important?
like how you said you teared up. Like that was a better question.
it was just a sweet, right? So we were in Galway and we're this restaurant, Ard Bear, I think it's called. The woman who owns that restaurant knitted all of Colin Farrell's sweaters in Banshees.
Wow.
And so me and my brother were like, well,
Stop everything.
nothing else matters. We need to get one of these sweaters.
Are they expensive?
I would imagine so we couldn't get an appointment. She only made
Okay, so
it's only made
it's
for,
not something like I'm a little shop and nobody knows. It's like
Yeah.
it's now become a thing.
No. It's just that it's what she's always done. She owns the restaurant. She's just a restaurant. It's a very nice restaurant, but she's just like, I think this is just like a side thing she does.
Got it.
And it was just like there were no available. She wasn't available. Whatever.
The
it
week
was.
you were there.
Yeah, my brother talked to her. Went to the restaurant, talked. But so he was like, so, wait, do you have another sweater? Like, where's the other best sweaters here? And they're like this place called, I don't know how they pronounced it, but it was O'Malley's. It was O''Mallie. And we go in, and this woman is just like really hunchback and really like very old, and
A woman who lived in a shoe sort of shit.
yeah. And like they're all hand knit, and she knits them all and all that shit. And there was like a sign that was like, everything must go. I'm like, whoa, everything must go? Like, what's going on? And she's like, we're getting into the store. And I was like, oh, you like changing locations? She's like, no, my back gave out. I'm 86 years old. I'm retiring. I'm done. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's very sad, but we'd love to grab it. And she finds this one for me, and she's like, it like almost like it hit her.
This is her last sweater
She's
ever.
like, this is the last one.
What?
And she's like, in this size or in that color.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's like,
This is it.
she's like, this is the last one. And then we kind of just like sat there like in silence. And I was like, it's beautiful. She's like, well, thank you very much, lad. I hope you enjoy it and you enjoy your life. And I was like, oh my God. I think I was in the early stages of food poisoning because I was very emotional.
Weeping.
I was like, oh my God. The way she said, like,
Have a nice
she's
life.
like, enjoy it and enjoy your life. And I was like, oh my God, that's the most amazing, sad, beautiful thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
It's a great sweater.
Yeah. But anyway, why did I say, yes, the most important part of the trip. That was the second most important part. The most important part of the trip, I flew Aer Lingus.
Okay.
Aer Lingus boards from the back. Saves no time.
I never understood why it would.
That must be like...
What they need to do is go from the back and the front, and then you would save time. Like you go to the meet in the middle.
But
sort
even
of.
then you wouldn't. Because then there's...
But at least there's just like, we both can go at the same time. But just picking this end or that end is never going to... Am I missing something? Is there a reason why boarding from the back would save time?
I know it's what people scream every time you're at the airport. Like, if you just board it from the back, it's faster. And it turns out that the entire airline industry has done more research than
Regular ass people.
a guy who goes to Scottsdale once a year. Like, it was the same. In fact, we started boarding 45 minutes early rather than a half hour early. So it might take more time. I don't know. But yeah, it was no discernible difference. Because no matter what, you can't board from row 50, then row 49.
It doesn't matter if the row is 1 or 50. It doesn't matter what we name the fucking rows. It's just you're still getting in one door and filling up one tube.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
And I was thinking about, I was like, this must be what like scientists feel like every day.
Totally.
Where like people are just screaming and like, no, we did it.
Well, this is why
we thought of that, guys. We tried it.
We tried.
Like,
That's why though, like,
if you're at a gate and you're just like talking to some random guy, that guy will be convinced that if you board from the back, it is a smoother, faster process that would take 5 minutes to get on that plane if everyone just boards from the back. Not the case.
Can you Google it? I just don't even get what the logic. There has to be something that I'm not thinking of that they think you do.
You want me to type in?
Well, they
Just
just
Google
think-
like, is it faster to board from the back, and let me even just see what their argument is.
Doesn't the term Aer Lingus boards from the back kind of sound like a sexual?
Yeah,
thing?
totally. Yeah.
When he said lingus, I was about to make a
Yeah.
sex joke and I didn't, and then he said board from the back, and I was like,
Yeah, board from the back actually somehow sounds nastier.
sounds-
yeah.
I think what the argument is that people, if you're in, because then you're not waiting for people to put their bags up because they're already on. So you're not waiting for people to put their bags up and sit down because they're
Okay.
But
Okay.
when you're boarding from the back, you can't board row by row by row. So you still have to board in sections. and then someone in row 29 is holding up someone getting to row 33. Like it does.
Yeah.
There's always someone holding up rows.
Also, there's just never
Unless you pre-board and like, have everyone line up outside and get on the plane like that.
But that
insane.
takes time too. I also there's never enough overhead space anymore.
Oh, that's
so
a big point.
So
of
when
contention.
I am I'm in row 2, but I got to go put my shit at row 7 or 8. Then I'm moving moving back. So no matter when I boarded after you, but I'm gonna go further than you. You know, it's just the whole fucking thing doesn't make sense. Rear to front boarding method was slowest, clocking in at 24 minutes and 29 seconds.
rear from slowest. Okay.
Yeah, and that the regular way was 14 minutes and 55 seconds.
Significantly slower.
Yeah, I mean double. That's almost
Like,
fucking double.
I actually
that's
thought it was going to
crazy.
be about even. It's significantly slower.
That is. So you know what you need to do? Now you need to be the guy at the airport yelling back.
Yeah.
It's actually factually not. They did the tests. 173 people boarded. It was almost twice as long.
But can you imagine like how annoying that must be for people who don't? For people who work in the airline industry, they're like, we fucking did it, guys. We know, like, because everyone is so convinced that if you go from the back, it's just and they're like, no,
We tried it.
we tried, guys.
Yeah.
We
I mean, that's pretty much the world. You know, it's just like everybody telling you your business when it's like, I'm an expert in this fucking field. By the way, while we're speaking of planes and airlines and stuff, I think I have to call Cap, as they say, on Rico Bosco.
What is this?
He said he had another incident where he told somebody to not get up and cut in front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I've seen some proof here. He said it was He said it. They played it on the Dave and Kirk show with Whitney. It was like. He said there was a guy next to him, and he was like, "Yo, watch this. Oh, you got a big surgery? Something, doctor? You know, you need to do it. You need to get ahead of us." And he's like, then they told me when he got off, he told me like, "Good job, man." I was like, I don't know anymore, man. I don't know if I believe this, Rico.
I have told it to Rico
until I see it. You tell me once, fine, but now it sounds like he's told like multiple times.
Well,
you know?
it's there is a common denominator on these issues that Rico keeps having, and that issue would be Rico.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I keep stopping assholes on the plane. It seems like you keep being an asshole on the plane. Like is what the issue appears to be here,
like
Rico.
I'm with him, of course, with the sentiment. But if you told me, I was gonna say, if you told me you have two scenarios. One is this guy's an asshole and it's kind of annoying, and then he just gets off the plane. Or two, like somebody calls him out and stops him, and then it's a whole thing. Because in this story, the guy pulled into like the next row and was like, "You're right, you guys can go." And then Rico was like, "No, it's too late. You go ahead." And it's like, well, now you're causing a problem, you know, just as much as the other guy. But also, part of me would be like, that's kind of cool. You called him out. So I don't know. But it keeps happening, and it's just like we all fly together all the time, but nothing's ever happened without a witness. I want a witness, Rico.
Yeah.
I want a witness. Next time it happens, get somebody, even if it's a stranger, be like, you need to call my friends and tell them that happened.
You saying bone to pick reminded me of something. I have a bone to pick with you.
Manscaping is something that as a John, let me ask you a question. Where are you at on manscaping these days?
I'm where I've always been, which is
what?
like I don't need to do it that often. So
Right,
I'm
right,
kind
the inside out
of
cat, yeah. Where are you at on manscaping these days? What are the youths doing? What are the kids doing these days?
I trimmed my chest a couple months ago. Got made fun of.
Yeah. Did you go too low?
I went to
Yeah.
low, and I was kind of wearing one of those shirts that kind of like sticks.
So you could see like the prickly, like it was like stubble instead of hair.
St. Patrick's Day, bro.
Just that's why you got to get Manscaped, because they have all of the different equipment you need. Back in like when I was first growing up, it was like, you know, you didn't have like buzzers and clippers at your house. You had like, you know, blades with fucking shaving cream.
Yeah.
So you were like either going all in or not. And now Manscaped has different devices like the lawnmower 3.0, 4.0, and 5.0. There's the Plus, the Pro, and the Ultra. They have 3 different ball trimmers. They have the nose trimmers, the ears trimmers. They have the clips that you can put on, so you can basically like give your whole body like a fade if you wanted to. They have the skin safe protection with the LED spotlight, and so you can manscape without making it look like, look at me, I shaved my chest, which is where you really got to be at this day and age. It's like, as I'm getting older, I'm like, listen, I don't know, whatever, man. But you can't let it get out of control. But you also don't want to be the guy who's like, look at me, I shaved my arms. I don't know, maybe somebody at this company does that. I don't know. So that's why you got to get Manscaped. They got you covered every which way with all the trimmers. They also come with a travel case, and it everything from the back of your neck to your chest to your pubes, they've got you covered. Go to manscaped.com right now. Manscaped with an ED at the end. Manscaped.com. Use promo code KFC and get 20% off plus free shipping. For the best your boys have ever looked, trust Manscaped. At manscaped.com, promo code KFC for $20 off plus free shipping.
You said something on this podcast once, not that long ago, but a while ago, that stuck with me because it affected me, and it was
just nice to know that I'm heard. Like, even if you're mad at me, people are listening.
when I was sick, I was in a hotel that didn't have Wi-Fi. I couldn't buy movies. And so but it did have YouTube, so I was just watching a lot of YouTube. And the Conan Hot Ones had come out, so I wanted to watch that. And by the way, I watched the first 2 episodes of his show last night. Dude, there's a scene when he goes to Iceland that is, it's. I was really high, but I was screaming laughing.
The funniest guy in the world. He's so fucking. I have not watched yet, but he is the best.
It's about how he just goes up to a random. No, he's not in Iceland. He's in Norway. And he goes to this random Norwegian guy, and he's like, I hear the Icelandic people are very short, like Kurt. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, what do you think about this outfit? And Conan's just wearing his clothes. And he goes, maybe too old. he's like, wait, what? He's like, I think maybe you're too old for how you're dressed. You were, and then he but it's you gotta see it. It is,
dude. Conan. Before you finish your bone to pick, Conan is a guy who I'm very nervous that because he's really not out there as much as I believe he deserves to be.
Yeah.
How funny he is. I think if you go around and ask the younger generation, they would be like, I don't know anything about Conan O'Brien. Meanwhile, I think he was the funniest out of all of them.
Yeah.
He got so boned by NBC. I bet people don't even know about the Leno and
Right.
Conan and having Leno just come back and take it from him and then him getting fucked. But when Conan was at his peak, oh my God, that show! I never really cared for any of those late night shows, but Conan's. Remember when
Dude, his Hot Ones is amazing.
Is it? I'm sure.
It's
I mean, he's just one of the funniest guys ever. But we don't.
He's also just he's very interesting. He's very he actually said something in it.
He went to Harvard, right? Or,
yeah.
He's very smart, very funny.
But he's
not a bonehead.
Sean Evans asked him if you had to create a curriculum for a comedy course, what book would you have on it? And
That's a good question.
And he's like, read widely, read everything. He's like, everything's funny. And,
yeah. Can find humor in all
it. It
of it.
actually kind of had me be stop being a funny snob about stuff sometimes, and just
Well, that's what I liked about him is do you remember when they merged with whatever channel it was? So we had the Walker Texas Ranger handle.
Yeah.
They were just our channels merged with USA, so we now have access to all of the Walker Texas Ranger clips we ever want. And you pull the lever, and they would just play a ridiculous clip. And then even Triumph the Comic Dog talking about for me to poop on is this is not brilliant, but it was always so fucking funny.
Yeah, he's like the Old Testament's funny, the New Testament's funny, Chaucer's funny, Mad Magazine's funny. He's like it's all fucking
of it,
funny.
Yeah.
And then when I was sick, this is after what happened when I was like, oh yeah, I got a bone pick with Kevin. I started watching because I put in full movie on YouTube and a lot of Adam Sandler movies popped up, and I started watching Adam Sandler Netflix movies. dying laughing. Dying laughing. Dude, I'd never seen The Do-Over. That movie's fucking hysterical.
That's a good one.
I watched Just Go With It with the one with Brooklyn Decker. Hysterical. I was, again, it could have been swayed by my fever dream.
I was going to say, you were not being a movie snob. You're not being a funny snob in those moments.
No.
You let it rip. But wait, what's your bone to pick with me about?
But so after
this?
Conan's Hot Ones, YouTube just did like the autoplay, and I watched a few Hot Ones, but at some point, it might have been right after, it might have been later, Matt Damon's Hot Ones came on, and I watched that. He's great. I love Matt Damon. I'm a huge Matt Damon fan, huge Ben Affleck fan, huge Good Will Hunting fan. And in fact, I watched that on the flight over, and that reminded me of when there was a guest on the show because I was sitting next to you, and the guest agreed with you and was like, "Yeah, where does it say that they stole Good Will Hunting?"
I think it's just like an internet rumor.
Yeah, because then I was sick, so I was like, oh yeah, Matt Damon. Oh yeah, didn't they steal Good Will Hunting? What the fuck was that? So I looked it up. I think people just
you're telling me internet rumors weren't true. I think the general theory for some reason is that the fact that they never did anything ever again. People are like, you guys wrote one script and won an Oscar.
But that's such a bad argument. Like, they became movie stars. They became the biggest movie stars in the world.
Yeah, but they never wrote anything again.
Yeah, well, they were busy being movie stars.
Yeah. That is true. That is true.
Like,
it's like, why would I write this show and I go be the leading man?
I'm gonna keep doing the leading man one where I make $30 million rather than fucking write the whole thing and make 30 grand.
And I guess what this article says, there's some MIT guy.
Yeah, I read this article. There's an MIT guy who says
he stole it from him.
He says I one time said there should be a movie about a smart janitor. Like, he didn't write Good Will Hunting, dude.
Right. That's inventing the Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read though because I went to research it, and it was this was like a Barstool article was the first thing that popped up, and there really wasn't anything else after. There's like some people are like, well, Gus Van Sant helped. Well, yeah, I'm sure the director helped with the script.
Probably.
That makes.
Well, speaking of Conan, there was
and I'm sure they
Conan.
got help, but like that doesn't mean you didn't write the fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Sometimes the tinfoil hat, sometimes
like those are like two of my favorite actors.
You took that one to heart,
and I was like, "What the fuck? They stole the fucking movie!" And
bro, it's so funny to think about how many other things maybe John's been took to heart that I was just absolutely babbling bullshit.
Well, again, I don't know who our guest was, and they're like, "Yeah." And like you guys were both so sure. I was like, "Fuck, I didn't know they stole the movie. That's crazy."
I mean, that's fucking podcasting for you right there. All right, let's get into our voicemails. Before we do it, we want to get voicemails really re-fired up again. I talked to the guys over the break, and I was thinking about how in the beginning of KFC Radio, voicemails were like really the focal point of the show. And that's what led to so many of the hypothetical discussions and Answer the Internet and kind of what our bread and butter was. And obviously through the years, we've gotten away from that. And we just kind of throw on a couple voicemails at the end. But even just doing like the hypothetical bear and man in the woods, like that's what this show really is all about. And I think podcasting was all about that. And I thought we lost our way. The whole industry, everybody becoming experts and philosophers. And I would love to get back to just funny stories and good hypotheticals and good banter and all that. So I'm going to extend the challenge to the stoolies, to the listeners, the chicken heads. If you do a voicemail video, the best one at the end of the month, as voted on by the listeners, gets $1,000 cash. So we will probably narrow it down to like final 4 or 5 or something like that. And then we'll put it out to a vote on social media. And whoever the listeners think had the best voicemail of the month, I'll give you $1,000. So bring the heat. Tell us your funniest story. Ask a good question. Well, I don't want to just be like, tell them that one time you took your dick out at the party. But if it's a really good story, or if it's a question that we think like we'd be like, that would be good enough to be an Answer the Internet, or that's thought provoking enough that it went viral, or whatever it may be. So whether it is, if your question does go viral, then you're kind of in. If it's the most thought provoking that we all agreed on, it's in. If everybody agreed that it was the funniest, it's in. So whatever way you can do it, the best voicemail every month, I'll give you that cash. So send them in, and we'll try to get the best ones out there, and that can really we'll start to do more than just 3 at the end of every episode. We'll start to pepper them in throughout the whole thing so that the show really gets back to its roots of just being funny banter and bullshit and thought-provoking questions. So let's get into what we got today.
I forgot Dante text.
Oh, real quick live reaction. Zach Wilson era. Done in New York. Traded to the Broncos.
To the Broncos for
No,
6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think Zach Wilson is not very good, unfortunately. But if he can find, like, what's Sam Darnold doing these days? Just being like a happy backup, right?
Backup for the Niners.
The Niners, right?
Yeah. So.
I just think there is something to be said if like these guys can go elsewhere and be like serviceable. I don't know. I really am at the point as a football fan. I think it might be crazy to draft what you believe has the most potential in the most important position, and then throw them to the fire immediately.
Yeah.
Like, even if maybe Zach Wilson was really talented, but like 4 years of no offensive line and getting fucking hammered on the field and getting murdered in the press off the field is like, well, now even if he was good, you totally botched it. Mm-hmm. It's like every other job in the world, if you think about it, you get groomed and you like go up a level. And I know sports were tempted to just be like, go. But it's not basketball where it's just like, yo, do what you do on the court. There's so many things that matter. And if you're not a good franchise and none of those pieces are in place, you'd have to be the next like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, to overcome the situation you put him in. So what's the rush? Like, let them get bigger, let them learn, let them do all that shit that they need to while not losing fucking 12 games a year.
Great.
And becoming the butt of everyone's joke and all that shit. So the more I watch it, it seems almost, obviously then there's the exceptions to the rule, though, or the guys who do step in and play good right away. But I feel like that's more it's more likely than not you're going to get fucking rocked.
Yeah.
If you're not, truly that good. So, anyway, best of luck, Zach.
From Dante, I said, call me back. He said, I'm in the air. What's up? I said, never mind. What time do you land? He said, 45. That was 20 minutes ago. He said, are you trying to corner me on your show? What's the issue now? I said, I'm trying to talk to you on the show. Yes. Call me when you land. He said, about what? The only time you want to talk to me is when you're trying to make fun of me. I smell entrapment. I said, well, I'm definitely trying to make fun of you.
Yeah, it's not entrapment.
I'm trying to hear your thought process on something. I don't want to know completely what he's coming in for, but I do. It's a genuine sociological experiment.
Yeah,
I want to know.
Tell him. We won't make fun of him. We will just ask questions.
Yeah.
I promise I will only ask Dante questions. Let's fire up those voicemails, and we'll see. Maybe by the time we're done, Dante will sack up.
Sitting here waiting for Taylor's album, and I thought of something. I was going to the eye doctor, and they were like, hey, remote appointment. You made a remote appointment. What the fuck does that mean? What is a remote eye doctor appointment? I'm gonna go 1, 2, 1. What? How do I get the glasses? Anyways, what is one thing since COVID that you're like, no? Like, we know, like, the utensils and, like, food, whatever. What the fuck is with the remote appointments? Anyways, thanks for getting, I don't know. I hope my blanket's just laying on the floor somewhere, you fuckers.
It's right there.
Blank?
It's over there.
blanket.
I love Jackie.
Oh,
Blanket's been here the whole time.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like-
on a couch.
All right, and also, if we're getting attitude, this can't be the same girl. Someone did once tweet me that they were crocheting me a pair of shorts that I never got. So I hope my fucking shorts are on the floor somewhere.
You think we got multiple crocheters?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
That would be.
If we
that
have
would be
multiple crocheters.
In
that
her
would
defense,
be-
I think we lost track of the blanket for a little bit.
nice. Oh, did we?
We found it.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's there. and in
beautifully
good shape.
folded
It's
right
beautifully
there.
folded.
I mean, in our world, the amount of people who still try to do remote interviews, it's like.
Well, I thought of something on my travels because people kept talking about it. How long are we going to talk about COVID? It's crazy.
I was gonna say that
Like-
this is my thing almost. Still bringing up COVID. is my thing about COVID. It's
like tour guys would mention it, and I'm like, so you doing good since COVID? We like, and not even like
feels good to be outside again, doesn't it?
like
I love hugging and touching, right?
But like, so I obviously understand the complaints about things, like particularly doctors. Doctors have just really sold it. It's been like, hey, by the way, we were fake the whole time.
The whole time. They exposed the fuck out of themselves.
Like, you don't even meet any of us anymore. It's just, I don't have to be in the room to get my physical. That seems crazy.
I mean, the eye thing is crazy.
Yeah, that's all.
You need to look into my eyes and shit.
But it's just everyone still. We're just, oh yeah, that changed. It's cool. Like it's just the way the world is now. Why are we still whining about it? There's just fucking deal with it. I don't even know. Like. Everyone just complain. This trip in particular, I actually said it. Like, I never do that. But like, we were sitting down. We were at a bar called the Greyhound in Kinsale. Unbelievable pub. The pubs.
I bet. I mean, that's
every pub was unbelievable.
The standard for pubs over there has got to be.
I mean, it was amazing. But we're out there. We're out. Actually, no. We're at the Tap in Kinsale, and. They had a little beer garden in the back that had a well that they had found when they were making the beer garden that just had medieval bones in it, and they were just like,
medieval.
They just left the well open. They were like, yeah. Well, the bones aren't there anymore.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say those are not real bones.
Yeah.
Someone tried to show you bones from like the 1200s. Those are not real.
There was like a news article next to it, just like the. By the way, does anyone know what Normans are?
Normans?
This would be my my bone to pick with Irish tours. They think we know a little more about Ireland than we do. Like they just kept being like, "Well, this is a Norman castle." I was like, "Who the fuck are the Normans?"
What is that like the Rothschilds over here? Like a powerful family?
No, it's like it's basically
a style.
The race of people Vikings created. Like when they'd come in, Vikings.
The Normans?
Yeah,
it's a race of people.
Yeah, I guess
I gotta brush up on my history.
The early settlers of that island. It's like
the Normans. Norman.
Yeah.
Wow. Ain't never heard of that.
Dude, I've taken a fucking Irish history course in high school. Now I only took that course because we knew at the end of it you get to have a Guinness. Literally the only reason I took that class.
That's great though. It's a great move by that
like
professor.
Your parents could sign a permission slip.
Bro, you took a whole fucking semester of a class to have one beer.
To have a beer that I have beers. I had
all
beers
the time. I was gonna say you've been drinking since
it was my senior year of high school. I had beers all the time.
My class gives me beer. It's awesome. That's fucking great.
But why am I saying all this? Oh yeah, but so some guy is sitting there talking about COVID, and he said something. I just went, yeah, well, I'll get over it one day, I guess. And he's like, and he didn't care that I clearly had attitude. And it's like, I don't know, it's just not a interesting thing to talk about. I was like, yeah, I don't know, man.
It hasn't been.
We got put in timeout for 3 months. That sucked.
5 years ago.
Yeah, like it literally.
I mean, it's called COVID-19. I know it was at the very end, so it was more 20, but it's 19.
It's the year 2024. We're still complaining about like how we got put in timeout.
It's also basically 25. Come on. This is almost 10 years ago.
It's insane that we're still talking about it. Imagine you put one of your kids in timeout for like a week, and fucking 3 years later they're still like, Dad fucking was in timeout.
That one time.
Shut up. Yeah, it wasn't great. Fucking goddamn. Talk about something else.
By the way, if we're gonna minimize,
I don't mean this. All doesn't mean to be
shitting on this girl. Huh?
No, it's not directed.
You're just like fuck you, wear my shorts. Fuck you and your voicemail.
No, because she is like it is like most of the complaints are accurate complaints.
Yeah.
Where it does like yes, the world changed from then and it does suck, but I don't know. Things suck all the time. And you just gotta deal with it. Amen. Mine would be it would be how
Pray tell.
the heroes stopped bringing us utensils in our delivery.
Oh, the first responders. Yeah. The first responder delivery men.
Bro, every time I eat, and I don't order out all that often anymore, but like I'm wiping my face with the bag afterwards. And it's just like I'm gonna throw in.
Bro, I am with you, but that's ridiculous.
Really?
Brown bag in your face.
Yeah, every time.
I mean,
There's no napkins in the bag.
But like you're in your house, right?
Well, I gotta get up.
Yeah.
If my biggest complaint since COVID is I stopped getting up off the couch to get napkin.
Like, there's probably paper towels like from here to that fucking
closer. I'd say, yeah.
But you're just.
I have this whole bag, and it is. That was one of the
such
most
a piece
sly
of
moves
shit,
since
bro.
COVID. They realized how much money they'd save. They didn't give us forks and fucking utensils.
Oh, well, that would my real actual complaint is the amount of like I'm pretty sure they've proven that like 40% of the inflation was just corporations being like, we're gonna jack our prices and call it inflation. Yeah. And they've like proven that, and they've called out the companies that have done it.
And they just don't care. It's all right.
It's crazy. It's crazy,
bro. Every company right now is like, we just had the best year ever. Record profits.
Yeah.
Inflation sucks, guys.
It's nuts. They got caught red-handed, and everyone was just like, nah, don't worry about that, and we don't. What can you do? What can you do? You're just like, I'm gonna buy the gas or buy the cereal or whatever the fuck. It's just. You can't stop it. These guys are just like, you're gonna do it, so stop complaining. I'm okay.
Yeah,
sounds good, bro.
You pegged me. You guys
Pause.
You guys took a risk that I would mildly complain once or twice on a podcast, and then I would shut up and keep living my life.
And you're gonna make
and you
extra
fucking
money.
You nailed it. You fucking nailed it. Great,
Got it.
Great business minds.
All right, next.
KFC Feits gang, I got a would you rather for you.
Let's go.
So would you rather live your life with your arms cut off at your elbows, but you still got hands where your elbows used to be, so you'd know where to bend your arms or anything like that, living like a little T-Rex? Basically got to sit down to jerk off. You can't really lay down anymore unless you want to be bent over all the time. Or would you rather live life with just one arm, so you can do everything normal, but you only have one arm? You can still lift weights and stuff like that, jerk off normal, and you get to choose which arm you want.
Babs is over there doing like karate, doing yoga.
I think this is a no-brainer.
One arm.
Yeah, one arm.
You can't have. It's like quarterbacks. If you have two, you have zero. If you have two hand stumps, you still have zero.
Yeah.
You can't.
I saw a guy in the airport actually. I forget where I was, but he had two stumps like that
on his elbows.
Yeah,
this is exact thing.
Like I think they were more small arms than.
Well, that's the thing. Is usually they're. Okay. I thought you were gonna say the hand is usually like also kind of like.
Yeah.
If you just have like a full functioning hand.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't.
It's like a claw. Kind of.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't a great situation the guy had going.
No. So he had two.
Yeah,
T-Rex arms.
And I remember just like. I remember I like stopped in the I was at O'Hare, and he was right in the middle of like you kind of walk through like almost like duty free when you get through security, and he was like in the middle of and I like stopped and just like stared at him, like just trying to figure it out. Like it was one of those like I was like, are my eyes like not working? And it was like,
hey
no.
buddy, are my eyes working or are you a freak?
It was like I took a second, like I'm just waking up, no, he didn't forget his arms. Those are them.
Not being able to bend is tough too, though.
Not being able to bend.
You wouldn't need it. Like spaghetti arms. Do you remember getting mad at spaghetti arms? What did you get mad at spaghetti arms over?
I loved this thing. Sorry.
You love what?
I just remember really liking the spaghetti arms.
Spaghetti arms. Spaghetti arms. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You were so mad at him for something
was just
that was
like he was like calling himself Spaghetti Arms.
Oh, I think he like introduced himself as Spaghetti Arms and was like thinking it was cool. The question from Spaghetti Arms was, would you rather have uncooked spaghetti arms as your arms or cooked spaghetti arms? So you either have like these like sticks or you have these wobbly things. Fine question. We did this years ago. It was very am I the asshole-ish? But yeah, then he did something where I think he like tried to be like, so I told this girl I was Spaghetti Arms from KFC Radio. But whatever it was, John was just going, Spaghetti Arms, what are you doing? Come on, Spaghetti Arms, come on! It was so good.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was you were so fired up. I remember being like, whoa, John is fucking mad at Spaghetti Arms. I can't believe you know Spaghetti Arms.
Yeah, I remember like
we forget that Jackie
listening.
was like a listener, a little super fan.
Yeah.
Spaghetti Arms. But I mean, this your whole life versus just like one arms. I feel like, bro, I watched that guy on Instagram play fucking I think D like 2 hoops with one arm. But yeah, one arm is like, what's tough is losing one arm. If you're born with one arm, I think you can live like entirely, unless somebody like throws 2 things to you at once, you're fucked. Otherwise, it's like you just completely adapt. That's like, I mean, I've seen way more like deformed people do way more shit. Some of these people on the internet who are like, doing shit with their feet. And
mine is always just comes back
acrobats.
to being like superficial, and I can tell a story about. I can make having one arm interesting. I can't.
Nobody is like, yo, that guy with the hand stumps. Is cool. But you can be like, Jim Abbott threw a no-hitter.
But then you know what happens too, and I guess this would be an issue with even the one arm, is some people on the internet, you'll see, they get a little too loose with their deformities, where they embrace them too much, I think.
Becomes their personality, kind of?
Nah, it's just they start doing gross shit with it. Like, I saw a guy doing, like, it was like he had, like, a stump arm, and they were doing, like, ice luges off it.
Yeah.
Like,
people who drink out of their boots.
That one, no.
You like that one?
No, that one I like.
I've
taken part in.
I like watching other people do that. I think that's funny. I don't really want to drink, like, the foot beer.
My buddy.
I mean, I will if you challenge me. Listen, if somebody hands you a boot of beer and you say no, you're the biggest asshole in the world. It's like, this guy's got one fucking foot. You can't just drink a beer out of his toes. But I'd rather not.
I got a buddy with one arm. I got a buddy with one leg, and they are the one leg.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't think I've met.
Bro, the one leg, we used to party, and he'd like any dance floor, he'd have that thing up in the air like it was the cup, and that was a blast. That was fun. And my buddy with one arm.
At what age do you think that stops? Is he still doing that now? Like, are you at a wedding at the age of like 30, being like, yeah?
Probably not, but maybe a little bit.
How did he lose his foot?
But I think he's just born without it.
Got it.
And I think both were just born without it. The guy with the arm I got arrested with. He's the one that took it. Really scared the cops. The cops were like, "What the fuck is this?" And me and my buddy
trying to handcuff him. Nah, can't do it. Can't do it.
Me and my buddy
What
already
do they
got
do
arrested.
in that situation? What do you like handcuff a guy to like their waist or something like that? To their like belt?
So we got arrested. Me and my buddy were already in the back of the car. Me and one friend, and we just hear we were arrested by a woman cop. And we're in the back, and we're like our life's over. Like, this is our second. We're gonna get caught from this, so we're gonna get kicked out of high school, and like we're fucked. Like, this is all we're fucked. Like, it was our senior year. He'd already gotten to college. I hadn't. He's like, well, I'm not going to school. Blah blah blah. And then we just hear, "What the fuck is this?" And we're like, "Oh shit!" Adam had something in his pocket or something, I guess. And we just hear him go, my arm, and we start laughing. Like, dude, we're in the back seat, like shit, like a cartoon car. Looks like people are fucking in it. Like, we're just bouncing, like, like, ah! And then she's like, "Shut up back there," and we just hear like a long pause, and she goes, she's trying to figure out if she's gonna be angry. She goes, "What the fuck do I do with it?" And she had the same question you did.
Yeah.
And he just goes, I guess you treat it like any other. So she handcuffed them both together, and then the second he gets in the backseat, he just popped it off. Like,
we had the fake one. Yeah, I mean,
just like locked it up. He's like, okay.
Yeah, that's gotta be like, that's not day one of the police academy book. I don't think they go over one-armed guys.
But yeah, it's one arm.
It's
we make fun of my friend a little bit, but he's about as normal as he can possibly be.
You make way more fun of a guy with elbow hands.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
no, elbow hands.
No, and that's another reason I'd want the one arm, because I would not. I don't think. And again, it's hard to say.
If one of your close buddies had elbow hands, you would for sure make fun of him.
I don't know if I'd ever become close buddies with a man with elbow hands. And this is my point right here, right? Like,
because
one arm
is just like, you're just missing something. Elbow hands, you are a deformed freak. You are a freak. One arm, you put on a jacket, whatever. You have maybe a little hand sticking out, like, you're fine. Somebody takes their jacket off and they have jazz hands. You're a freak.
Yeah, like
you're from the carnival. You have no option but to join the circus.
Like right now, like if like I have no problem. I have no problem sitting here being like talking about my friend with one leg and my friend with one arm. And if at any point you guys are like, don't you have a buddy too with like he's got like weird half arms? I'd be like, he's more of an acquaintance. Just
a friend of a friend.
I don't really know that guy all that well. Like it wouldn't. I don't know.
Because like, it's like you can shake his hand, even if he's lefty. You kind of do this.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do with elbow hands.
Yeah, we worked together a few
How
times.
do even like this guy, like right away he's like, you would have to bend over to jerk off. Like you start thinking about all these things for elbow hands, and it's like you're a freak.
Yeah.
I don't want to, and it's not the cool stuff where you're like, tell me how you do it. It's like I don't want to picture that. I don't want to know any of that. All right, let's last one.
Speaking of T-Rex, I read the other day that we are closer in time to the Tyrannosaurus Rex than the T-Rex was to the Stegosaurus.
Crazy.
Whoa.
That is crazy. But yeah, because those things spanned like tens of millions of years.
Yeah.
So that also could just be totally made up.
Sure could be.
What do you think about this Caitlin Clark stat? I think this is made up. Caitlin Clark outsold the Dallas Cowboys.
Saw that.
I don't think that's true.
That
I think there's one dude who put up a tweet that said it. Dick Weiss. That's it. And then a couple blogs ran with that. Micah Parsons is number 1, and Dak Prescott's number 5. So they have 2 of the top 5 jerseys.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's just not true.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Clark's in that zone where you could say anything.
Right.
All of these stats, the ratings, the
I
numbers.
did see that stat, and I just went, whoa, and carried about my day.
But when you think about it, it's like...
But that's to what you're saying, where like it's like that Tyson zone.
Yep.
It's believable. I
Yep.
was like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I guess when I do some critical thinking about it, it doesn't really make a ton of sense.
It just can't. It's like...
I was gonna say that like the Cowboys don't have a ton of new guys, so like maybe it's one.
But
of those,
like just like
everyone who
Dak
wants
and
their
Prescott
jersey bought it.
and Micah like alone.
Yeah, but they have a 1 and a 5.
Yeah.
And everyone who's buying football.
Yeah, because honestly, it's funny you say that when they like. It's not like people are buying like. Most teams probably have 3 guys that you would wear their jerseys.
Yeah.
You're not like wearing fucking linemen's jerseys and shit. So having like 2 of the top 5 is a very big deal.
Yeah.
It just can't be. Maybe I don't know. If Darren Rovell doesn't tweet that, it's not true. That's such a fucking Darren Rovell thing. He would probably jerk off to that. All right, last one.
Yo, boys. Jack.
Wait, stop.
So,
You know what's another good one of those? It's like we are closer to Cleopatra
Yeah.
than she was to like the pyramids being built.
Yes.
So like in Egypt, in like the Egyptian civilization, she still was so far away from the pyramids.
Right.
That's crazy. She was like, God, the fact that Cleopatra was like, the pyramids are fucking old is nuts. I absolutely think of her just like running around the pyramids, like living in them, going out to hang out in them and stuff.
The one I read, an entire basketball court fits in the penalty box of a soccer field.
No.
Jackie says, no. If the penalty box is 194 feet.
Yeah.
I
just
was.
read it. We Pat, let's get a Google on one more time. Basketball court dimensions.
No, dude. But because we don't need to look up. Dude, basketball court fits in a penalty box. Basketball court fits in soccer penalty box. Penalty box.
Yes.
What?
The basketball
With room
court.
to spare.
105 meters. Oh no, that's the okay. Yeah. That's the whole field. So that's like a football field.
What?
I was. It's funny you say this because Keegan's.
That's crazy.
Keegan's-
It's not just some room to spare. You can almost fit 2 in it.
You can fit like 20 in there. That the orange part is a basketball court.
Yeah.
You can fit 1, 2. You can fit like 10 basketball courts in there.
Well, but
Eight
the penalty
basketball
box we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but of course, across the whole field, you could fit
Yeah.
a ton. I was just on a full soccer field for the first time because Keegan's flag football team plays. They break it up, and there was like 20 flag football games. I mean, now flag football's tiny or whatever, but still, I was like, this is one soccer field.
Yeah.
that's why those motherfuckers run so much. That's crazy. Okay. Send us any those are good too. Any more of those? Those are also fun ones to make up. You slide a couple fake ones in there, and people run with them, and it's like, yep.
Oh, actually,
Yo, boy.
sorry. This just reminded me of kind of like the 9/11 thing from the Fun Facts. So one thing I learned when I was over in Ireland was that because of Brexit, a lot of major corporations have to move to Dublin because they need a headquarters in the European Union, and that's the most logical place to go from London is to Dublin. It's English speaking is right there, blah blah blah. So, and when Netflixes and the Hulus and the Primes and all that came over, one of the stipulations from the Irish government was, in order to be here, 25% of the work has to be done here, be it editing, production, filming, whatever. 25% of your shit has to be done here. And our tour guide told us that, and I was like, I had like a butterfly effect moment where, because like now they're calling it like the Irish takeover of Hollywood, and I was like, that all came from that.
Like Banshees and all that shit.
Brexit is the reason that fucking Barry Keoghan's a monster. And now, obviously, that I'm taking some liberties with that, but like,
I'm sure it helps.
I'm like I think in the Irish takeover, it's Cillian Murphy, Colin Farrell, Barry Keoghan, Paul Mescal, Andrew Scott. The first two were well on their way.
Yeah.
I think the other three probably
all
got
recently.
a substantial amount of help in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Right, what was Brexit?
gonna say, it's all-
7 years ago?
Really? That long?
It was old office.
Jackie, why don't you do jacked up Brexit? Why don't you tell the people?
It was, I mean, Riggs went and covered it because he was a political guy at the time. So
That's like how he got the job, right?
No, he was already living in New York and shit like that. He moved
But he
to
went
New York.
overseas. There was something that he just went to overseas before working here, I thought, to be like,
No, he already worked here.
for Brexit.
When he had like the red and white stripe thing on. That was a
Yeah.
big video. But he for sure
He worked here?
Yeah. But I was like, damn, that's crazy that like
Yeah, those guys are
Brexit
fucking...
is the reason, is at least, certainly helped Barry Keoghan and fucking Paul
Yeah,
Mescal.
those guys are probably, this is the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
It's like COVID. Still has effects.
Can I say something? Because
Always, Jackie.
I would have liked to come back with like Mexican fun
I was
facts.
going to say, where was your gifts, by the way?
I actually actively thought about this, and then I was like,
Even worse. So you thought about it and actively
considered it and decided
Yeah,
not to.
yeah. Yeah, well, I was like, they're not going to ask for gifts, and that's crazy that you just did. But I was like, that's kind of, okay, anyways.
Fun facts.
Well, so with history museums, like, I mean, I understand, like, some people are history museums, some people are, like, art museum people. I just don't get history museums in general. Because, like, all of them, there's, like, this history museum fatigue where it's, like, it all starts, every single history museum starts with, like, here's all the clay pots that we created, right? And then it shows all the clay pots. And then it shows that for, like, 5 more, like, rooms. And it's like, we get it. You guys made clay pots. If I had nothing to do, if we had no technology, I would make clay pots all day too, right? Okay. And then it like goes on like maybe like loincloths next, and it shows all the loincloths. And then it's like, okay, also like, yeah, I get it. Like that's what I'd be wearing if so then it's just like clay pot after clay pot after clay pot. And it's like that's how every single history museum starts, right? And then it's like the economy was based off of like clay pots and animal hide and like whatever. It's like, yeah, we get that. Every single history museum starts off with that. So then I'm seeing like all these people being like, oh my God, that's so cool. But it's like, yeah, I assume that. We know this. So I don't understand why history museums are starting with all these clay pots all the time. Just like, get rid of the clay pots. We get it. You have to come in with the understanding to these history museums that we made clay pots for a period of time. I don't get it. I don't understand why everyone feels the need to like, right?
That might be the most specific.
Yeah, that's that.
Are you not with me on this? Like,
I'm with you. I don't go to enough history.
No, 'cause-
I like an art museum.
I
yes,
think
exactly.
that they're
That's the only
probably-
time I can actually picture myself in the thing. Like with history, it's just like, okay, because then also like at the start of the museum. Sorry, can I just?
No,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead.
At the
the
start of the
floor is
museum
yours.
is when you have the most energy, so you're gonna read everything at the start, right? So that I read all about these clay pots, and I was like, oh, more clay pots, I guess. And so then I'm reading all about these clay pots, and then by the time I got to the actual good stuff, like once I actually started like making technology stuff that wasn't fucking clay pots, then I'm like, I'm tired, and like I don't feel like whatever. So I didn't learn anything.
I think I'm not well up on my clay pot exhibits, but I bet there's probably some like civilizations that are like old as fuck, and it's like these are the people who like they made the first pots.
Yeah.
They were the first people to put like food into a thing.
Yeah.
And like I could find some interest in that. It's like, 20,000 years ago, some caveman put it in a pot. But I would agree with you. I don't need to see more and more of the pots.
I need to see 2 pots max.
How many
I
pots do you
would,
think you saw?
What?
You wanted 2 pots. How many do you think you saw?
Upwards of 200.
200 pots is too many pots.
Now, I would my advice would be
Probably more than 200 pots.
that's too many pots.
Were you like in like a herd of people that you couldn't just like go wherever you wanted though?
Well, everyone
Like,
was
just
like,
go somewhere
everyone
else?
was reading everything about the clay pots, so I was kind of like sheep in the, following people, being like, I guess like maybe there was cooler information about these clay pots. It never was. They were just like,
you on a
yeah.
tour, or you
Then they
just by
started. Then they
yourself?
started like maybe evolving their pots. Like then they had designs on the pots. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's not. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I would say, I feel like because we're introduced to museums at a young age, it's like a field trip, and you go and you spend the day at it. And I don't think that's the way to do a museum. I think you go, and you look at the exhibits, and you go, I'm interested in that one, and you just go to
agreed.
that for an hour, and then that's it. You don't spend the whole day there.
Yeah, agreed with that. Well, I think you just have to go into all history museums, understanding that there was a period
Pots.
where we made clay pots, and like maybe like some spears and like we like
Some loincloths. Yeah. What was there something that you saw that you were like, wow, they made XYZ?
No. Well, like there was one clay pot that was really cool actually. And they had like a lot of,
It was these pretty cool loincloths, and they had this dope spear.
But like other than that, I was like, I'm not impressed until
I haven't
you start.
been to a museum, art or history.
Don't waste your
in
time.
a long time. No. It's funny that you say you're either a history or an art. I never even like thought of that. Is that a thing? Is that like a distinction?
I wouldn't think so.
Well,
but
so,
I guess
like,
maybe.
I feel like I know people who they're like, wow, like that's so old, and I'm like, I can see that you are like picturing how old that is, but I can't. The only time I can actually picture myself in the time period is if I'm seeing like art version of it. Whereas like I feel like people.
Well, what is a history museum? They still have like, I guess. Oh, okay. It's not art, but it's like a thing they found. It's like a real thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're still the same process, really. Like you're just looking at.
Yeah, and
I
they're
think I'm a
looking-
history guy.
Yeah.
I did history.
Fucking roll your eyes.
No, it's just like I looked down at you like, oh, are you interested in clay pots? Oh my god! Don't show me a clay pot. Okay, sorry, continue.
I went to the Book of Kells when I was in Dublin, and that one I don't recommend. That was one where I Googled it before because I was like, I don't really know what this is, and I kind of got a gist of it. Where it's essentially like what brought Catholicism to Ireland, which, by the way, in the latest census is only 60% Irish, 60% Catholic, and almost all non-practicing. Which is like, once you've lost the Irish, you kind of lost everybody.
They got to throw the playbook out. And start over the whole fucking thing.
But
Let everybody have sex. Let the gays in. let women be priests, because if you lost the Irish, you lost everybody.
But it's this medieval book that they don't really know. The Normans had a lot to do with it, and so they bring you into this. And I was like, all right, well, I got the gist. I'll learn about the rest on the tour. And then there's like no one really knows the answer to what it is. So, or at least the tour guide didn't tell us. And then I was like, this might be like, I'm like 40 minutes into this tour. I'm like, this might be a dumb question. What is it? And he's like, well, really, it's a piece of art, and it's a work of art, and it's like
art.
All the print, like the dimensions on it, they're so perfect. It looks like it was all done computerized and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, can we see it? And he's like, well, no, you can't see it. I was like, well, what are you doing? But on that tour, they were like, there's a rock over there. That rock's 6,000 years old. And that actually was kind of cool. Like, Every rock you touch, you're like, this is probably old. But like,
I know
like,
this one
was
is from.
sick. This, yeah. I was like, that's kind of sick.
It's like me and my Blarney Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this thing. These scientists poured cement down an ant hole so that it cemented their colony.
It's fucked up.
I think they were like,
Oh,
it was like
they're
gone
gone.
or whatever. Ants are mad smart. They had like families and shit. They had like rooms. They had like these ants live here and these ants live here, and they had a tunnel with these like little balls that they like it was like a big tube and then like a little tube and then like a ball that they like live in and shit. And they had like ants had like roles, like you do this and I do that.
Yeah.
It's like ants are like people.
Ant colony, baby.
Think about that though. They're so fucking small.
You think they like pay rent in any kind of way? Like, in terms of like.
Yeah, like if you're
Just
gonna
with
live here,
sex.
you gotta go. Yeah, yeah, you gotta go dig like this up for the queen though. If you're gonna live in this, this.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
All right, last
Anyway,
one.
that concludes our education portion of the show today.
Yo, boys. Jackie, what's up? So, me and my boys do the Daily Dozen every day. And, like, have a group chat, send each other our boards, make fun of each other, all that stuff. And, like, I'm just, like, the car make and model guy. Like, the car category is my shit. I get it right pretty much 100% of the time. So, jokingly, I was just like, send me a picture of any car headlight, and I'm going to tell you the make and model. And, dude, I hit this shit at, like, a 90% clip. To the point where, like, my buddies were home, and we're just taking pictures of cars in their neighborhood. And I was just like, Hyundai Sonata, man. And just going, ripping through all this, right? And to the point where now, like, when I'm walking around, though, or I'm driving, all I see is just, like, when I see a car, when normal people see a car, it's just like, yeah, it's a car. But I'm like that Zach Galifianakis gif with, like, all the math and all that shit. I just see make and model. I got to know it. I got to get better every day. And it's just, like, I guess my question is, like, when do you guys realize you have, like, autism? Or, like, have all this useless knowledge on such a super niche category? Like, I'm just, like, a reverse image search for Kia Sorento headlights at this point. And
I
know
don't have that because when I do dozen, I don't have a niche. I don't have one of those things.
I don't really, but I think like I'm good at like if you I think if you show me a still of like a show or a movie, I can probably tell you what it's from. Which I guess is kind of like this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Are you guys still good?
Yeah, we play tonight at 10 o'clock, which is gonna be
10 p.m.
which is like 3 a.m. with my time now.
We're playing Minahan tonight. He's on a 5-game losing streak.
They're not fun to play against.
No, but I told him, I'm like, you're gonna get right against us. Like, we lose by 10 every match, but if like he loses to us, like he's gonna have a fucking. And as I understand it, he puts up like 10 points a game.
Yeah,
and it's just like Rico fucking up. So I'm just praying we have like some type of good performance, but we don't ever. But the point being, because like I know very little. I don't know enough about anything to be good at the dozen, but I definitely don't have like a niche that I could be like, this is what we're doing.
I think it's cool what he said, like where like now his brain works that way. I think it's weird how your brain, almost like a river, like bends in new ways, and like I feel we've done that our whole careers, where it's like, oh, now my brain works like this, and now my brain works like that.
Yeah, this new thing that I just have to focus on,
like,
and I didn't even know about until.
How do I make that a T-shirt? How do I make that a blog? How do I make that a sketch? How do I make that a podcast segment? And like it's weird that like once you're in it, you're just like, okay, that's how my brain's
see the
working
Matrix,
right
that's
now.
it. Yes.
Like it's
Yes,
a very weird
totally.
thing. But speaking of brains, I saw a tweet the other day that was kind of like a whoa, like it was like told my friend about how I have to plan all my conversations, and she was like stunned,
Right.
or something like that, and like that's how introverts work. And I was like, I plan like every conversation like that. I don't think that's one of I'm trying to figure out. Is that
No,
an introvert thing?
I don't do that.
You don't plan like
No.
Do you plan
I
content?
actively try to avoid not planning because then it doesn't go. Like I can't stick to like a script. Like,
But like it's not like I don't. But the thing is, like when I read it, like I don't plan conversations. It's just that's what my brain does with idle time. I have conversations.
God.
With yourself?
Yeah.
Wait,
like
those
with
are two
other
different
people? You're imagining.
Yeah.
with
So,
other
like,
people?
Other people will have a role, and like they'll like I'll be like, oh, that like it's again I'm not actively doing it. It's just like
I thought the planned conversations thing was like, I'm nervous to go talk to someone, so you say to yourself, I'm gonna say, what do you do for a living, and then I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna say that, so that like I have a good conversation with.
But I'm not. I guess mine is like I'm not even planning it. I'm just having it. Like I'm
You're having
not.
fake conversations in your head with other people.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
That's crazy.
That's really weird.
Who are you talking to? Like me?
Anybody. Like it probably.
You have a conversation with me without me in your head
all the time.
about what?
Anything.
Well, how do you know what I'm gonna say?
I make up what you're gonna say.
What if I don't like what you're saying? What if I don't like what I'm saying in your head?
I
Are
don't know.
you like Kevin was being so funny the other day?
I mean, I better be killing it in these conversations.
That like
You're probably running around being like, yeah, I kind of like Kevin.
Do they
He's
ever
all
say
right.
anything
It's like,
offensive where you get mad at them?
Yeah.
No. They're
You
always.
said the N-word
You would not believe what Jackie said in my head the other day.
No, I think because it's mostly me. They're always great. Like, everyone in my head, every conversation I have, they're fucking.
Smoked it.
It's an awesome conversation.
I don't think
But, like,
that's what people mean when they say plan the conversations, bro.
Yeah.
I think it's much more about like nervousness. So it's like I can't just go up to that person and talk to them and we see where it goes. I'm like, here's the questions I'm going to ask. If they ask me these questions, here's how I'm going to respond so that I like do good in the conversation.
Yeah. That's something I would have kept to myself probably.
But I'm not doing. I'm not like sitting here. I'm not nervous about it. It's almost like I'm so excited to talk about something that I want to talk about it.
I've already done it. Yeah.
And so like I'll have like if I learn a fact or
Okay.
hear about a movie or
Yeah.
anything like that, I have a friend who that
How do you pick who the friend is?
just like whoever like would be most interested in that. I talk to them about it.
So you'll be like you'll be like you'll just tonight you might go home and be like in my head, hey Paz, did you hear about Caitlin Clark? She sold more jerseys than and like you just have that. You are so red right now. This is the ultimate when you admit something on a podcast thinking that everyone else does it too. I have never heard this in my life.
Like when I saw that tweet, I was like, that's what everyone does, you fucking idiot. And no, huh?
What they are talking about, a lot of people do. What you were talking about is not what they're talking about.
But it's just like it just happened. Like I don't have any like it just happens. I'm
Yeah.
not like I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about this. Like I'll learn about it and my head will just go, oh, Kevin would think that's cool, and then we talk about it.
That part up until that part makes sense. Then doing it.
Yeah.
So wait, are there times where you'll have this conversation with me in your head, and then we sit down to do the podcast, and then what if it's different?
It's very different every time.
Every time. So then, do you finish the podcast and go, "Wow, Kevin in my head really disagreed with Kevin in real life"?
I don't really think back on it ever, but like. But usually, like usually I've done the podcast before we do the podcast. Like it's just I'm not doing it. It just happens. It's just happening. It's a thing that's happening to me.
So this is
Like, I'm not like let's do this. It's just happening to me.
so this is your version of that. This went viral like a week ago because it always does. This is your version of an internal monologue.
Yes.
What you
Yeah.
do, it's not an internal monologue, it's an internal dialogue.
100%.
Interesting.
I don't like
Fucking
myself
weird,
that
but-
much. I don't like
Yeah.
internal monologue. Like, let's bring someone
I
else
don't
in
get the
here.
people who say they don't have an internal monologue. Unless we are talking about different things where it's like, I don't sit in my head and make up conversations like this fucking lunatic. But like, my version of an internal monologue means I'm just like thinking about stuff. There are people who just sit there. I think you're probably one of them. You just sit there and like nothing's going on in your brain. You're just like,
I can be pretty off. Yeah. But when I'm on, I'm
nothing.
just doing this. Like I'm doing
When you're
that
on,
stuff.
you're performing. No wonder why you're off. You're off because you just came off of a fucking show. You just did a whole ass performance.
It makes sense because like if you look at you like just sitting in a room, like he just starts giggling to himself. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah, he'll definitely be like what's so funny? He's like, this thing in my head. I was just thinking about this thing. Because it's like one of your friends just like dropped a
one of you
funny
guys. You guys
joke.
were this is something great.
We were killing. That's hilarious.
It's really weird.
This is why I want to get the voicemails back because like this guy just knowing headlights turned into that. That's crazy.
I kind of like I like count FedEx trucks. Like every time one goes by, like I always have a count every day of like FedEx.
How many in a day do you see?
Like yesterday, I saw 4 because I drove to. It has to be like when I'm in a car, but like on an average like road trip, it's like 64. Like I always like, it's like a weird like if I see a FedEx truck, like I have to. It's like a weird like comfort thing.
64. That's a lot of fucking FedEx trucks. They're out there doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
That's weird. Do you do any weird shit?
This happened with fonts in college when I was just like really into graphic design. So I just couldn't look at a font without being like Garamond, or something like that.
Yeah,
Recently, movies have became impossible for me to watch because I just think of
shots
every
and the
shot.
angles and
I
shit.
can't watch movies anymore without like enjoy them at least.
I'm it's the same thing with Brand. Like I almost like over analyze, and we're like it's so silly talking about it because we're such novices. But it like I'll be like, oh, they must have said that, so this is gonna happen. That was a line for this.
Set that up later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't think I do any of
but
that shit.
I guess.
I think you're all fucking crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, you win.
You win. It can't be that abnormal.
No, I was gonna say the other thing is while we're all laughing at you, this will probably go out, and I bet you like 25% of the population is gonna be like, I do that. You guys are the fucking weirdos.
Yeah, and I want to. I'm not trying to do it. It's just what I do. It's just it's what I think.
Now I'm just picturing you having this conversation, but like we're all like, oh my god.
Yeah, totally. You all reacted very differently. You weren't saying that last night in my head. That's very funny. All right.
I would say like it's a very low percentage of the time I go into a conversation and it's my first time having that conversation.
That's so fucking funny. Wacky dude. That's nice. All right. So go to all of these social media, any of the social media channels where there's any sort of bio or link. There is a Google Docs, a Google Sheet, whatever. There's a way to submit a video through Google, right?
Yep.
And that's where you can put in voicemails for to win the $1,000 prize. And I guess there also has to be some sort of caveats, like Kia Sonata guy was not like that wasn't a great voicemail, but it led to a great moment. So I don't know. Like you might be in the running for $1,000. Who knows?
We've got a new YouTube channel. It's called the KFC Radio Clips channel. It's a short form YouTube with all of the best interviews, segments, and moments from KFC Radio, past and present, just a few minutes long, so you can keep up with the podcast and all of our greatest moments if you don't have time to watch the full episode. So head on over there. There's a link in the description below. Click that, subscribe, and then come back and catch the full episode. Thank you.